rolling. But the Beavers showed heart, stayed the course, and stunned mighty USC to finish as the West Coast's hottest team, winning 8 of 9. Now they believe that all things are possible this year in the Pac-10. Cincinnati has hired a builder with the blueprint. Brian Kelly won 2 titles in D2, made Central Michigan the Mac Daddies, and got the Bearcats to buy in instantly, not content to take a backseat to the conference big boys. It's the Pac-10 versus the Big East in the Queen City. And welcome back to Nippert Stadium on the campus of the University of Cincinnati. Oregon State and the Bearcats of Cincy set to meet for the first time. Oregon State, many believe, the most underrated team in the Pac-10 based on the way they finished last season, including that loss that snapped USC's 27-game conference winning streak. They beat Utah in the opener very impressively. They take on Cincinnati. Less is known about what the Bearcats have. Southeast Missouri State, the first game of this season, but a 1AA opponent. Now a real test for the Bearcats at home.
And I would say to focus up front on the offensive line for Cincinnati. Oregon State's strength on defense is speed and togetherness, and I really believe that the offensive line at Cincinnati is key for them tonight.
Well, offensively, Cincinnati's going to spread it out, go no huddle, try to create a fast tempo, fast pace, tire out that defensive line. It's a great pass rush team over there for Oregon State. Tire that pass rush down.
We'll see which team can make plays on special teams. The new rules, moving the kickoff back to the 30-yard line, didn't really dramatically affect starting field possession after kickoffs in the opening week. You can see it only improved 3 yards, Craig, but you look at this success on the opening kickoff. More teams took the kickoff, and 40% of them scored.
I've been fooled by it so far. I really felt like we'd see a lot better starting field position, but what's happened, in my opinion, is there's been so much focus on the coverage unit that the kick return unit's blocking has lacked, Doug. It's just not been there.
Well, you know, and it's something that they haven't been able to do. I mean, so many touchbacks, but I'll tell you what, the 40% to 29%, that's coincidence to me. You know, when you talk about 26-yard line to 29-yard line, it's only a 3-yard difference. It just happened
Not enough data, you say. You're
not enough data yet.
Okay, all right.
I'm waiting a few weeks.
You know this guy, Doug. Mike Riley, head coach of the Chargers, sandwiched around 2 different stints here at Oregon State.
Absolutely love the guy. He's an upbeat, smiling type of guy, an offensive-minded coach. Really just a joy to be around, and he has these guys thinking that they can do it out in the Pac-10.
Yeah, Brian Kelly walked into a pretty good situation. He didn't have to rebuild his program here the way he did at Grand Valley State, power in Division II, and also at Central Michigan. They've been to bowl games 5 times since 2000 here. So the pieces are in place, but he wants to get it to the next level. Now we'll see if the Bearcats can do something with the opening kickoff, see what their field position will be. Jacob Ramsey, Angelo Smith back to receive. They did win the toss and said, we want the football right now. And there is Alexis Cerna, the Groza Award winner, as the top kicker in the country 2 years ago, and he's doing the punting tonight as well. Cerna's got a Groza-type leg. And he drives it deep. Ramsey works his way across the 35. This is the kind of field position we thought teams would get kicking off from the 30, and Brian Kelly introduces you to his offense.
Let me introduce you to our offensive unit. Left tackle, Digga Bujnak. At guards, we'll have Trevor Canfield and Kenny Rodriguez. Chris Jurek will do the center tonight, and then Khalil Amin at right tackle. Ben Mauk will be under center. 3 senior running backs, and we'll need a big day from Marcus Barnett out at our split end position.
And Ben Mauk, an interesting story at quarterback. We'll detail that for you. The starter at Wake Forest, opening day 06 before a serious shoulder and arm injury, transferred here. He's got 1 year left as a graduate to make something happen for himself at Cincinnati. On the first snap, Mauk looks near side and caught for a completion. TJ Hushmanzada, Bengals and an Oregon State alum, introduce you to the Beavers defense.
Now going over to the defensive side of the ball, starting up front with the defensive linemen, do their thing and stop the run and put pressure on the quarterback. Behind those guys is the linebackers led by Derek Doggett. He got to hold it down also. In the secondary, Keenan Lewis is going to have to prevent UC from putting big plays over the top, along with the help of his other teammates. They got to get it done back there in the secondary.
It was a 4-yard gain for the tight end Ernest Jackson. Sets up 2nd and 6, and the snap over the head of Mauk, who has to run it down at the 25. So a big loss will create 3rd and a mile.
Ben Mauk is the senior that played at Wake Forest that you talked about, Chris, and the experience to fall on the football in a jailbreak situation pays off right now for Cincinnati's offense.
Well, this is an offense that likes to run up tempo, which is great as long as you hold the ball. When you go 3 and out, it puts that defense back on the field quickly, and that's something that is.
They will not have a great time of possession today.
No. 14-yard loss sets up 3rd and 20. And the pre-snap whistle. Talked about the very serious injury to Ben Mauk against Syracuse in the opener last year, a compound fracture of that arm. It's a Big East officiating crew. Dennis Halligan, the referee, and that'll make it 3rd and 25. This is an ugly zipper on the arm of Mauk here. He's lucky to be playing, frankly.
That's an arm.
Very lucky, and he's really not 100% yet. He's thrown the ball very well, but he's still got a little ways to go.
That first throw to the sideline, pretty impressive. That was a long throw.
They'll need a long throw here if they're going to convert on 3rd and 25. Now they take the safe way, and it's very high. Jackson went up for it, and he did make the catch, the officials say, but a very short gain. Check it, it's Dominic Goodman. So the errant snap and the penalty short circuits the opening possession for the Bearcats, and Kevin Huber, the junior, is on to punt.
I did like offensively there, though. They had people open on the pass plays. The bad snap caused them to be out of down and distance.
Taylor Cavanaugh, the sophomore out of Portland, back to receive this punt. Huber hooks it low, and it'll bounce out of bounds sideways, and the Beavers will begin their first series at about the 35-yard line. 35 yards on the punt as TJ returns to introduce you to the Beavers offense.
TJ Husmanzada here, man. Formerly Oregon State Beaver, current Cincinnati Bengal. Leading the way for the backs and receivers will be Evanson Bernard of Boca Raton, Florida. With Jeremy Perry out with an injury, the rest of the offensive line is going to have to step up and lead us to victory here.
Expect a visit from TJ and Chad Johnson, his Bengals teammate. Also an Oregon State alum will be on the sidelines tonight. We'll chat with them. Bengals open Monday night. Evanson Bernard, the fine tailback. They play fake it to him. And Sean Canfield looking downfield. Has a man right away. They look for Sammy Strutter. Welcome back. He was open. D'Angelo Smith chasing him, but it was close.
Beautiful throw off the play action. Buys you time. It was a coverage that they got the safety out of there. He's working one-on-one on the corner with no safety help.
But the thing about it is, Strotter's not been in practice, and I'm telling you as a former receiver, it's very difficult. You have to practice this, running full speed downfield, seeing the ball, your eyes are wiggling. That's a lack of, he will catch that ball 9 out of 10 times.
18-day absence from the team dealing with the grief issues that Aaron talked about. They tried for a big play to him in the very first snap tonight. Canfield flips it off short. This is Bernard. Gets away, but gets nothing in the way of yardage, and here's Coach Kelly on the Bearcats defense.
Tonight's about stopping the run. I think our front four's got to do a great job. Our linebackers have got to be in position to tackle Bernard tonight. And on the back end of our defense, we're very experienced. We've got to keep the ball in front of us. If we do that, we've got a great chance to win tonight.
They were stout against the run last year, 25th in the country. That was under Mark D'Antonio's staff, and a different look and a different philosophy this year. 3rd and 10. Canfield, the lefty, fires, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Haruki Nakamura. The veteran safety making his 25th start. Makes a cagey veteran play against the young quarterback.
I'll tell you what, he made the right pre-snap read. It looked like the out was going to be open. Nakamura slid under from the underneath coverage and got under the out in the zone coverage, right in his hands. Got right out underneath the out and takes off the other way.
The reason Canfield's starting is because of his ability to move the team down the field and not make mistakes like that on the road.
You know, he's got the big arm. He has the ability to make the downfield throws. Oregon State has been able to run the football. The passing game has been weak.
And Nakamura, an interesting character. We'll talk about him. But now he's given Cincinnati great field position at the 21 after the 20-yard return. Butler Benton is next to Mauk. Mauk looks over the middle. He's chased. And here comes the pass rush of Oregon State. Jeff Van Orso got him. This is the team that had the more sack yardage for loss than any team in the country a year ago, at a total of 47 sacks.
Coach Kelly talked about moving launch points, not just dropping back all day, because you're not going to hold up against this defensive line. They have to move the pocket somewhat and put them in different spots.
Let me explain that. Launch point, that's moving the pocket where the quarterback's not a sitting duck right behind the center every time.
I'll hand it off safely to Benton, who has a crease up the middle on 2nd and 20 and gets most of the yards back. Benton, part of a 3-man rotation at tailback. These guys are 3 seniors. They're used to this. They've done this for a few years. Benton had a 100-yard game in the opener against Southeast Missouri State.
Kind of a blue-collar group. They're all 3 about the same. 23, Benton is an excellent pass protection guy. And he can also, running the ball north and south. That might be what they need to establish early on against a good front line over there.
No tight end, 4 receivers, and Benton in the backfield on 3rd and 10. Mauk looks far side. It's a slant, incomplete. It was low. It was attempted for Marshawn Gilliard. The crowd wanted interference.
Defensively there, Oregon State bringing the house, trying to make Cincinnati throw the ball hot, come up, make the tackle. It's because of that down and distance. They got themselves on the sack and long yardage situation again.
And so, they'll try a field goal. It's Jake Rogers, the redshirt freshman, who had a little bit of an adventure. Missed a field goal, missed 2 extra points in the opener. Didn't cost him against the 1AA opponent. He was very solid in practice, so he keeps his job. 38 yards. And he just snuck it through. Brian Kelly told us he was not going to look when they attempted a field goal tonight, but that one works out okay. They cash in the interception for a field goal and lead 3-0. This game is being broadcast on ESPN, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Now, the quarter system here at UC, so many of the students who don't live in town not able to be at the game. But this is still a national showcase game for Cincinnati and for Oregon State, trying to reverse the trend of getting smacked in these non-conference showcase games. Last year we saw him at Boise State on a Thursday get blown out on the blue rug, and Louisville got him big a couple of years ago. So Oregon State rarely comes east and wants to make the most of this showcase game tonight, get them ready for the Pac-10. Jake Rogers to kick off for Cincinnati, which just took the lead on that field goal. And Gerard Lawson, the deep man, will field it at the 3. Shows a burst and just plows straight ahead. Good starting field position at the 35-yard line. Big start for fellow Big East team Louisville tonight. Let's check with Reese Davis.
Big start for both teams, Chris, both Louisville and Middle Tennessee. 21-14 in the first quarter. Brian Brom finds Harry Douglas. Douglas off to the races, but he forgot the football. But Mr. Touchdown, Gary Barnage recovers it. 28-14, but Joe Craddock and the Blue Raiders come right back. Finds Bobby Williams for 6, well in excess of 400 yards offense in the first quarter. 28-21.
Looks like a fun one, Reese. Keep an eye on that one. Louisville comes here October 13th. Second possession for Oregon State. And stuffed in the backfield is Bernard as Angelo Craig came off the end. Stopping the run was the emphasis. They pounded into the players' heads. Stop 26, stop 26 all week.
So far, we're seeing a very smart, well-prepared Cincinnati football team. Got a lineman pulling, getting his hip pocket, defensive lineman go to the play. That pulling guard's going to take you, or pulling tackle's going to take you to the play.
Yeah, that was a counter where they did pull. It takes a while to develop. Good penetration, got him in the backfield.
4-yard loss for Bernard. They fake it to him. He rolls out to the flats, and Canfield finds Bernard, who's shoved out of bounds at the 35. Williams on the tackle. Some of our talking points tonight. Recap what happened last Saturday. Talk about the races in the Big East and the Pac-10. The concept of the third coordinator, the strength and conditioning coach here at UC, playing a big role. And we'll talk Bengals, who opened their season Monday night on ESPN. Chad Johnson, TJ Hushmanzada, former Oregon State Beavers, expected here this evening. And Chad had a lot to say today about the Ravens defense in the opener on Monday. 3rd and 9 for Canfield. Puts it short. It's caught. And being slammed immediately is the freshman Daryl Catchings. The true freshman caught it in traffic. The Bearcats weren't fooled. And Ryan Manilak, their backup Mike Backer, on the stop.
This is what we saw out of Oregon State last week. They ran the ball well, although they got stuffed early here, but they could not throw the ball up the field. They're throwing the little screens, the wide receiver screen, the controlled stuff. They've got to get some medium to deep passes completed.
Alexis Cerna, excellent kicker, has to take over as the punter, as Kyle Loomis abruptly quit the team just before camp this fall. Cerna walked into Riley's office and says, "I'll do it." He hasn't punted since high school. Not a bad kick. Boom, and good coverage. Nakamura, who made the interception, hit instantly, and Cincinnati will start on their 32. Midway first quarter, up 3-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. And in part by AT&T, the new leader in wireless. And TD Ameritrade, the independent spirit.
It's almost Monday, 4 days away from the opener of Monday Night Football. Just a short drive away from here, right in the river. Of course, the Bengals and the Ravens, two division rivals. Crucial game to start the season. Here, the Bearcats would like to get the offense on track. Two pretty negative possessions to start this game. Breakdowns on the offensive line, creating the missed snap and the sack that forced the field goal. And Butler Benton stopped for a loss. Bengals 8-8. Of course, heartbreaking, just missed the playoffs at the end of last season. Of course, Baltimore rolling to a 13-3 record already. Chad Johnson and Ray Lewis are on the phone, woofing.
Is Chad not getting the ball enough already?
Ray says, forget about whatever celebration you have planned. Not going to happen on Monday. Over the middle, Mauk finds his man, and shaking free for a first down is Dominic Goodman. He was the top wide receiver a year ago. He's being pushed by some of the younger guys in this program, but a 17-yard gain before Derek Dobbins stops it right away, right up to the line, up tempo. I wait for the crew to move the chains. And then Kelly wants to snap it early in the play clock. Mauk rolls right, fires complete. Going to the ground to catch the ball is Connor Barwin, the tight end.
Very, very composed there. They changed the pocket. They moved there. Good eyes. Two good controlled throws in a row.
But I think the tempo that Chris is talking about is the key right now. The first snap of the series, they waited till the play clock got down to 10. The next one, they only let 5 move. They want to be 15 seconds or longer left on that clock. They're quick. They want to get to the line and go.
Offensive lineman had to lose a lot of weight in the offseason to play this new up-tempo style. That one almost intercepted. Mauk looked in the flat, and Van Orso, the man who had the sack a second ago, he's the guy that tipped the pass by John David Booty on the 2-point conversion to preserve that huge win for the Beavers last year.
That's why that defensive line is being counted on in this game, to put pressure on the quarterback at Cincinnati. But this up-tempo is designed to wear out that defense.
That's what Brian Kelly is hoping for. By the 3rd to 4th quarter, will this pass rush slow down?
3rd and 1. Benton is the lone back. 2 tight end look. Benton gets the deep handoff. Beavers good penetration. I think he's short of the first down marker, and a flag flies anyway. Took a long time to develop. Lee and Derek Doggett got there in a hold on the offensive line of the Bearcats. Another mistake in the early going for that O-line.
Although the tempo in this drive is much better, they've got to be able to run the ball in those situations. Short yardage, first down, and pick up positive yards. They need to be physical as well. When you're spreading the team out, there's a tendency not to be physical.
You know, and I have this theory about Pac-10 and
Number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty for the line of scrimmage. Repeat 3rd down.
And the speed of the defenses in the major conferences. When you have a slow developing running play, the chances of it being successful are just not that high.
The costly holding penalty pushes him back to the 48 and sets up a 3rd and 11. It's been impossible to get any rhythm going in this no huddle because of the mental mistakes so far. Press coverage from the Beavers. Mauk Pressured immediately on the design roll and sacked again. Tremendous pass rush again from the Beavers.
Great job of splitting the double team. Comes right through the gap, split the left guard and tackle, and Mauk had no chance. It was supposed to be a design roll out to the left. He never got to the edge.
Slade Norris, they had 19 different guys have sacks a year ago, and they continue to show a lot of depth at D-line.
They're just rolling guys in there. They say they'll play 10 guys up front.
So, once promising drive, short-circuited by the holding penalty, and now Huber boots it away again. Sammy Strutter was in at punt returner. He's the guy that has 3 punt returns for touchdown in his career. I think Huber noticed that, punted away from him.
Definitely a directional punt. Beautiful job. Usually you give up some distance on those directional punts.
Now Strutter and the Beavers go back on offense after the 52-yard punt.
The 25 greatest players in college football history, presented by IBM. Coming in 1 week. IBM, getting it done.
The top 25 greatest players in college football, voted on by a blue ribbon panel of former coaches, former players, and media members. We'll reveal 25 through 1 over the course of the season, announcing the greatest player in college football on the last week of the regular season. So Oregon State, 2 possessions, net 1 yard, don't have a first down, and Sean Canfield, 5 yards to show for his 3 completions. A recap there. Appalachian State, by the way, can be ranked in the AP poll. They've changed their rule. California delivering a big win for the Pac-10 over Tennessee. Clausen will be the quarterback as the Irish visit Penn State. We'll talk more about that big story as the night unfolds.
A couple teams rolling their eyes after week 1.
Canfield gives it to Bernard. It'll be a tough night for the Beavers if they can't develop a running game with Bernard.
That's their game plan. They wanted to come out and they felt like they had a chance to kind of demoralize Cincinnati's defense. And so I've been surprised Bernard hasn't had the ball more.
Well, they're selling out to try to stop the run. Cincinnati defensively is. Their safeties play run first when they, in certain coverages, quarters coverage, we don't need to get into that, but they play run first. And that's why the play action on the first play of the game had a shot of going big.
Deep ball was there. Strutter could not hold on, and Oregon State's first offensive play. Now it's 2nd and long. Shane Morales in motion. Handed off again to Bernard. Picks his way to the right. Very tough yardage out near the 20. The Pac-10's active leader in rushing yardage with a decent season. Bernard could get up in the top 10 all time in the conference.
Had a lot of people going back recapping what happened in week 1. I think everybody was shocked about Michigan's loss, but equally they talked about the Irish being inept.
The Irish just looked like they could not do anything offensively. Clausen will get the start this week. They've got a tough road, especially going at Penn State this week.
3rd and 2. Now throw for it. And Canfield, nice fingertip catch over the middle. It was Morales, the junior from Valencia, California, and that's their first down of the evening.
And even on that pass, Canfield was a little tardy getting the ball to the receiver. I mean, that's what the coaches have said. Get rid of the football. Don't hold it so long.
They were talking how the game has to slow down for him, and he has to speed up and take his reads a little quicker, make a little quicker decision, and get it out.
He's a sophomore, not much experience, comes from the San Diego area, Carlsbad, California. And pre-snap whistle here. Timeout called by Oregon State.
Oregon State, that is our first time out of the...
And we'll see Rutgers out of the Big East, ranked 15th, in action tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, against the midshipmen of Navy. Talked to Rex Schiano. He knows it'll be a test for his defense. The linebackers are all new for the Scarlet Knights against that option of the midshipmen.
Which is a challenge for any team that plays them because nobody ever faces the option. I mean, this is a nice deal with Ray Rice running the football, keep it away from Navy's offense.
Yeah, this Cincinnati team did a great job against Ray Rice last year, shut him down and beat that Rutgers team.
They came in here and they physically smothered Rice. Talked about the domino effect of the Big East. We're there. Louisville beat West Virginia. Slayton had the wrist problem, the fumbles, 44-34. Rice The thrilling win, the hugest moment in Rutgers football history on campus as they knocked off the Cardinals.
What a scene at the end of that game when the fans came on the field.
And the win here, this was a stunner, a big win for Antonio, helped him get the Michigan State job. On the reverse, this is James Rogers. Flags fly as the true freshman is shoved out of bounds after a short loss. Rogers, the freshman, only 5'7". They'll try to get him the ball in different ways. Reverses, sweeps, but a hold. Moves him back 10 yards.
Like you said, that's his thing. Rogers, they're using him in all those ways, the little hitch screens, the reverses, whatever they can do to get the ball in his hand. He's like a punt returner. He's going to make that big play.
Riley got Rogers to come out of Houston, Texas, over to the West Coast to play for him. And yesterday on the practice field, I said hi to little Rogers and said, hey, you know, I'm from Houston too. And he, you know, of course, he has no idea. We're old dinosaurs, you know. Said, believe it or not, Rogers, we used to whip your football team when we went down and played you guys. Oh, yes, sir, really?
He never heard of the Pony Express?
Yeah, no,
he thought you were delivering mail.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, did you guys have a single bar back then?
Oregon State will go all over the country to get their skill players. They only have one starter who grew in the state of Oregon. Complete over the middle, that's Kroom. The tight end makes the catch and fights for some tough yardage out across the 30. Kroom, a cousin of Sylvester Kroom, the Bulldogs head coach.
Gee,
yeah.
Nice nugget there, young man. You do more than pump those biceps up.
Okay.
Huh?
They ran that same type of tight end delay last week, and I'll tell you what, you might want to try a different tight end. Kroom's not a blazer. He got run down from behind. It was about a 10-yard play. That was a physical play.
But spreading the ball around. We've got a little reverse coming. We got tight end in the game. They handed the ball to Benson.
Had a lot to look at defensively.
Bernard, got to get Bernard going at some time.
Bernard is the one starter from Florida, by the way. You saw in that graphic. It's 2nd and 9. Canfield gets it away, on target and caught. Anthony Brown eluding tacklers across the 40 for a first down. D'Angelo Smith, after a 15-yard gain, makes the tackle, and Canfield spreading the ball around pretty well.
That was a well-placed ball. He was not open. Canfield threw him open, putting him to the outside shoulder. Beautiful ball placement here. He's covered like a blanket. He's not open. Ball's on the outside shoulder. He goes and gets it, turns it up.
Well, you know, and he takes a lick at the end, but it is a well-thrown football. Defensive back's going to come back and say in the meetings, why didn't I take the angle inside to deflect that pass? He had him covered.
He threw him open.
Canfield has a big-time arm. He can go downfield as Derek Anderson could here. He'll fake and smacked in the backfield is Bernard. Well, flying through to help out the D-line. Adam Hoppel on the stop there. Linebackers filling.
Cincinnati's going to make them beat them throwing the football. They're shutting down the run.
It's just a smart effort right now. Cincinnati's defense is well keyed in to what Oregon State's going to try to do offensively.
They didn't block the right side of the offensive line. It looked more like a sucker play off the
right
pump
side.
fake.
I didn't see anybody block the middle either.
It almost looked like they were trying to draw him out of there and bluff him.
I always hated the sucker play too, because I ended up getting blown up most of the time.
Canfield fires. It's caught by Anthony Brown in a shoestring hit. Barely holds on to the ball, but D'Angelo Smith, the corner, was right there to slow him up enough. Will officially go as a running play. Talked about a different approach for the Bearcats defense. A lot less hitting in practice this year, Aaron, than what they were used to.
Absolutely. Brian Kelly does not allow his defense to actually tackle in practice. He said he wants them to stay fresh. He wants to avoid injury. A lot of the players we spoke to yesterday said they're almost foaming at the mouth. They can't wait to get into the game so they can actually hit somebody, as we just saw a couple plays ago there.
Mark D'Antonio is now at Michigan State, a totally different philosophy. They used to hit and tackle all the time. 3rd and 14. Crowd tries to bring the noise here. They show a 3-down lineman look. They do bring pressure off the edge. Canfield hit as he throws, gets it out there. It's caught. Brown, but he does not have first down yardage, and D'Angelo Smith all over the field makes another tackle.
One of the striking things that I've noticed in this game is the speed of Cincinnati. I was expecting to see Oregon State with more speed, quite honestly, guys.
I agree 100%. And Oregon State thought going into this, Cincinnati actually is a smaller, quick team, that they would be able to hammer the ball and run down their throat. Well, they are small and quick, but they're making the plays and getting to the tackles.
Hey, Aaron, if you can, keep an eye on the bench at Oregon State, because they did travel to the east. What's their body like over there? This is coming across a lot of time zones.
Yeah, I've spent the last 2 nights here. They came out early to try to get accustomed to the heat and the time change. Cerna, again, the kicker, being called on to punt. Booms it deep. Nakamura lets it go over his head. And Cerna gets a nice little bounce. He'll down it at about the 3. So the All-American kicker showing his versatility. Nice little punt. Let's check back with Reese Davis in the studio.
Chris, there is no punting on ESPN2. Louisville and Middle Tennessee, 28-21. Brian Brom hits Harry Douglas. What a stop by Bradley Robinson. Now that stop and an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Mario Urrutia made the Bill settle for a field goal, and Middle just got back in the end zone, Chris.
What?
Wow.
Hello,
Blue Raiders. Could it be a second shock this season?
Blue Raiders after him.
I would have taken a personal foul there after that late hit that wasn't called.
For Papa John's, Louisville's been unbeatable there the last few years. Careful time for Ben Mauk, who's in the shotgun in the end zone. They hand off a short gain up the middle, just to the 5-yard line.
See if Cincinnati can stay in good down and distance this series. Here we go again with the no huddle. They're quick in and out of the huddle. They're not even in the huddle, up on the line of scrimmage, trying to create tempo.
Greg Moore, part of that running back rotation, was in there for that carry. Now they'll bring back Butler Benton. He's been their go-to guy so far this season. Pressure up the middle. It's a run blitz and a loss. Benton dropped by Dorian Smith, better known as a pass rusher. He had a quick start there.
That's a run blitz. You saw the linebackers get up in there. There's a tendency there. They may have heard a call that the quarterback made, but they were definitely up and ready for run.
And that's why Cincinnati's taking their running back, moving them from one side to the other to try to keep the defense off balance and make the blitz come on the weak side rather into the run.
Oregon State's defense able to force 5 negative plays for the Bearcats offense, who have 3 points on the board. They were set up by an interception. A defensive struggle so far here at Nippert Stadium. After 1 quarter, 3-0 for the home team. My guy Greg James was looking at the tape yesterday. So impressed with that Bearcat offense in the opener. 615 yards, 314 rushing. Southeast Missouri State's a different kind of defense than Oregon State, my friend.
I think you called him Simo.
9 yards in the first quarter. Negative 30 with the sacks, and Mauk in his end zone rolls out, flips it right into coverage. Was it picked off? Coming over was Brian Payton, the free safety. Now they say incomplete. The Big East crew waving off what the Beavers thought was an interception, but it forces a punt.
I hope his arm got hit on that throw, because if he was trying to put this ball where it ended up, not a good decision. Throws, it got tipped. It got tipped and he threw it, it went high over Goodman's head.
But what's he going to do with that throw? He's rolling left, his arm, he's getting back into shape. The receiver's 30 yards downfield. He's not going to make that throw.
Definitely a time to be cautious with the ball, maybe throw that one out of bounds and not stick it in there.
He didn't have 22 on him, did he, Fowler?
No, the call was correct, by the way. The ball did hit the rug. Strutter back to receive the punt. Trying to make his first impact play of the season. Takes it at the 42. Has a block. Strutter, dangerous. Has the corner. Cuts back, driven out inside the 25. Welcome back to college football, Sammy Strutter. Everybody's best friend on the team, the man coping with so much. As Aaron said earlier, 2 deaths in the family, the death of the assistant coach who recruited him, such an important part of his life, Jim Gilstrap. And he's a dangerous cat. 3 punt returners from the house in his career.
Well, the Pac-10, we know about Deshaun Jackson, but Strutter also has an outstanding ability to return punts.
36 yards on that punt, sets up the OSU offense at the 23. Canfield hands to Bernard. And once again, the run defense of the Bearcats up tough.
Just selling out to stop the run, bringing people left and right. Make Oregon State beat you throwing a football.
Well, Chris, what you're talking about is that at run defense, there's 7 black shirts playing the net right now. They're disciplined on defense. Very nice job. And you know, the Oregon State coaches said that Cincinnati's defense was faster. Their team was faster than Utah's. And I thought maybe that was a little sales job. But I think we're seeing that right now.
Utah, the opening opponent that Oregon State handled pretty well. Chris Johnson in motion. They fake it to him. Canfield flips it over the middle. Bernard, a nice one-handed catch. But not much room after that. Corey Smith, the linebacker, they are keeping close eye on Bernardson, aren't they? Running and catching the ball.
I would if you, wouldn't you? If we were coaching against them.
Bernard had a big one-handed catch last week on a little dump pass to get a first down on a 4th and 1 that led to an important touchdown in that game. It's great out of the backfield catching the football.
I just wonder, you know, if Aaron, if you can see that bench over there. I mean, what's the attitude, the mood? It just seems like it's not, they've not got off the bus yet.
Well, Craig, when the offensive line was over here on the sideline, their tailback, Evanson Bernard, did not leave their side. He said, pick your heads up, guys. Come on, it's early. Don't get down. He told us yesterday that offensive line is the reason why he's had success.
Bernard is clevered. Wow, Canfield led him right out into the path of Mike Mickens, the corner, and on 3rd and 7, they get nothing.
Mickens is a big-time defender, great cover guy. He comes up and just lays a blow. What are you going to say to your quarterback on this one, Craig?
You better say something to him.
I'll tell you what I'm going to say. I caught the thing, but don't ever give it to me again like that.
Mike Mickens, all Big East second team a year ago. And now Cerna from 38 yards to tie the game. It's real close, but he missed it right. Normally rock solid All-American, breaks a streak of 8 consecutive makes going back to last season, and the Strider punt return produces no points for Oregon State.
I'll tell you what, they came after, they're hitting, coming after him. Bernard can't shake loose.
Well, maybe Alexis Cerna's a little, you know, confused and dazed out there. He was in pregame doing a really good job.
It's from 62 in pregame. 62. And it hits the net. He was 40 out of 50 inside of 40 yards in his career. Misses it by a foot or so.
But you know what? He had an opening kickoff tackle. We'll show you later, because I know you guys like to pay attention to the kickers when they have the kick coverage down there.
The big hitter on the team?
Oh, yeah.
So here's Mauk now, still up 3-0. Fires over the middle and off the hands of Goodman. Dominic Goodman, the slot receiver, was defended by Keenan Lewis.
Now, Chris, I know, you know, we're Groza Award voters, but watch this. This is the opening kickoff. Where's Cerna? 13. Watch him just deliver he delivers a partial shoulder.
Yeah, he kicked him with a knee. Oh, that big blow. That looked like me making a tackle back in the day.
Man, that's my kind of hit. After 4 guys have him corralled, you go hit him.
No, there you go. Well, you got to wait till at least 4 get there. At least.
Hey, in his hometown, though, he's going to tell everybody, I blew a guy up.
Blew him up.
2nd and 10. Kind of a weird little shovel pass. It's Greg Moore, the tailback. A little tricky throw from Canfield. First down yardage at the 33. So both offenses, they came into this game with high expectations, high hopes, feeling they have firepower. Both kind of struggling at this point with mistakes.
I'll tell you, Cincinnati had minus 30 yards rushing, 1 first down, and was leading 3-0. I mean, the spread offense, spread them out and let it loose.
Well, they haven't had the tempo that they wanted to in this game. Cincinnati's offense hasn't gotten it going yet, and they want to throw the ball down the field more, but they're creative. Brian Kelly's a good coach. He'll figure out a little hole over there.
It was a creative little throw by Mauk there.
That was a flutie throw.
This time the pressure gets to him once again. They're having a hard time blocking the pass rush of the Beavers. 3 sacks now. Once again, it was Slade Norris. He's the backup end. He's getting there for the 2nd time. Therese for a 30-30 update.
All right, Chris, probably the feel-good story the entire baseball season. Rick Ankiel at it again for the Cardinals. Went yard twice, drove in 7 as the Cardinals beat the Pirates 16-4. Much more on his day and season on SportsCenter later. Tiger shot a 67 in the first round of the BMW Championship. He's 3 back of Jonathan Berg. SportsCenter after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
Now Mauk stepped out of bounds. You saw the rush for OSU get there again. Gerard Lee was chasing him along with the linebacker Alan Darling.
That was a nice job of not making a negative play out of something that could have been real bad. He had nowhere to throw it. Everyone was on the other side of the field.
But you know what I would be watching now are the wide receivers in the routes working hard to get open. I mean, you got to work and give Mauk an option to throw to.
He ended up scrambling away from where all the routes were. All the routes were over on the left side of the field, and he happened to scramble right. He had nowhere to go.
They've been going backwards all night. 3rd and 17. Over the middle, caught and clobbered short of the first down is Goodman. Tight coverage, he laid it in there. Daniel, big play, Drayton with the hit.
I'll tell you what, he ran the same route he ran last time on the slant. Actually, it's more of an upfield slant. This time he holds on. Last time it bounced off his fingertips. This time he made sure he was going to hang on and took the big blow.
Right now the punt team not on the field, even though the Bearcats are at their own 43, 4th and about a yard and a half. But now Kelly sends out Huber, the punter. Well, the sacks and the penalties killing drives, even though there were some positive throws for both quarterbacks.
Those negative
sustained drives.
Negative plays getting you out of down and distance, and you just can't make up for that.
Strutter, who had the big punt return last time, send a directionally kick it, ball bouncing very near the pylon. It will be a touchback. When we come back, we'll visit with Ocho Cinco of the Bengals, former Oregon State Beaver. He says he's got a little something planned for the Ravens on Monday night here. Chad Johnson coming up. A lot more defense than we thought we'd see. Oregon State and Cincinnati combining for 81 total yards so far. Some sacks and some penalties have undone some drives. Just 3-0 for UC. Interception setting up the lone field goal so far.
Y'all talked about the losses earlier. In the first quarter, Oregon State's defense knocked Cincinnati back for 14, 10, and 13-yard losses. Those are big chunks to go backwards, and then you got the penalties. And
now get you out of that down and distance, and it makes it impossible.
Canfield at the 20. Play fakes to Bernard, who goes out in the pattern. Canfield looking for it. Now he'll loop it downfield, and it's caught. Hammered out of bounds is Brandon Powers, the senior from Los Angeles. Nice throw by Canfield, putting some air under it.
That's a big-time throw. He waited for the receiver to come open. I was a little hesitant when he let that one loose. I didn't think he was going to get it in there. Finessed it up over the top, put it right on the sideline in a nice, safe spot. Big-time throw.
Apologize for technical difficulties. We'll get things sorted out here from Nippert Stadium. Canfield now 10 of 12. And if they can avoid the penalties and protect him, he could put together a drive here early in the second quarter. It's James Rogers, the speedy freshman in the slot. They go to Bernard. Cuts it back up the middle. That's a kind of a typical Evanson-Bernard run, about 5-yard gain.
Absolutely. You know, his first was he looked to maybe bounce, and you thought maybe, here it comes. But he knows his limitations. North-south, the 4- and 5-yard chunks are what moves the offense.
Is that what you thought? You knew that? You were in his head?
I could feel him.
You could feel it.
We're hardwired. We're there.
You're locked in. It's that running back thing, that ESPN thing that got going on.
I had a teammate one time told me that. He said, man, look, I got ESPN.
5 yards is his longest run tonight. He's done a good job on 2-6. Fake it to him. Again, Bernard in the pattern, has the catch, juggles it, and that might have cost him first down yardage. Making the tackle was Anthony Williams, as Bernard didn't catch it cleanly. One guy that always catches it cleanly here for the Cincinnati Bengals, a former Oregon State Beaver in their big season. Chad Johnson joins us now, getting ready for the opener against the Ravens. Chad, now you went to Oregon State, but you hang out with these Cincinnati DBs and receivers in the summer, so is your loyalty torn tonight?
My loyalty is always with Oregon State. That's where I grew up. But right now, in the offseason, trying to help some of the guys from UC get a little better at what they do. I come out here, I work out with them 7-on-7, 1-on-1s, just having a little fun before my season gets going.
Yeah, it's fun for them, too. On 3rd and short, Bernard knifes ahead for the first down. Now tell me, the no defensive back at Cincinnati can cover you in the little 7-on-7 drill. Please tell me you get free from those guys.
Most definitely at all time. But while I'm getting free, believe me, they're getting better.
I heard you couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. I don't know. That's what I heard. Rumors out there.
Hey, Chad, how about this team, though? I mean, are they Cincinnati? Are they playing better than you thought they would against a Pac-10 team coming in here?
Yeah, they are. I really didn't know what the outcome would be in today's game, but right now, I've been watching it. It's really going back and forth, and right now, it can go either way. And they turnovers, they can't turn the ball over, so we got to see who wins it.
Play action fake for challenge alma mater, and Canfield going deep down the middle. Straughter was the intended receiver. You have to be, as a guy, a part of the Oregon State family, glad to see Sammy Straughter back on the field, Chad.
Yeah, most definitely. He's done some wonderful things, for the ball club, man. So this is my first time being able to watch him and see him live. So I want to see what he's all about. I heard good things about him.
Now you open against the Ravens and your buddy Ray Lewis. I know you guys had a phone conversation already. The jawing has begun in a pretty important divisional game Monday night to start things off.
Most definitely. I think really with us, with a win Monday, could really solidify ourselves. Even with it being just week one, winning a game like this could really seal the division for us, especially coming off a big win against a very difficult opponent like Baltimore. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And I guarantee you I'm going to give you a show.
A nice completion to Howard Kroom for the first down, 18 yards. You think you can cement the division by winning the opener? It's a long season, man.
Believe me. Believe me. I've said a lot of things that I've never steered you wrong before. Listen to me when I talk now.
All right. Now, you said you're going to get to the end zone and have a very special celebration plan for McAllister and Ray Lewis and those guys.
You know what? It's really not really for them, man. What I have planned is for the world. I got a call from President Bush. He's going to start running the world for 3 hours just to see what I'm going to do.
All right. Well, we'll see what Canfield can do here. He fires, and it's well defended there, incomplete, as Anthony Brown was the intended receiver. D'Angelo Smith on the coverage.
You know what? You're right, Chad. Now, Bush could use a little distraction right now from all of his day-to-day activities. You can give him 3 hours of entertainment.
Most definitely. That's what he's going to get, 3 hours of nothing but entertainment.
Now, you haven't even started the season. It's 4 days away. Obviously, you're eager and you're keyed up. Do you ever stop talking or stop plotting against the defense?
Nah, never. I always have my own game plan of my own.
Why is the celebration so important, Chad?
You know what? The celebration is so important because it's only one way I can do it, by scoring. The more points I score, the more points we score as a team equals to W's. And wins is what we need. Last year was a disappointment. So we got to pick it up this year and make this run for Arizona.
Oregon State's trying to get some points on the board. Bernard pushed out of bounds on the far side.
Hey, you got to give us a little dun-dun-dun. You had that commercial going now.
Dun-dun.
Yeah.
Can you do it?
No, I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now.
You're not feeling it yet? 4 days to the opener?
Is it Monday yet?
No, it's not Monday yet. Believe me, when it's Monday, you'll know. Just make sure you got your popcorn ready. I'm going to give you a show.
All right, we'll see if the Beavers can convert. The noise coming from the Cincinnati section on 3rd and 7. Canfield has plenty of time, flips it over the middle. It's caught by Catchings. Catchings trying to get away, gets inside the 20, and gets a first down for Oregon State. Chad, I know when you watched OSU stun USC at the end of last year and turn things around, that was a real positive sign for everybody associated with Beaver football.
Yeah, most definitely. It was a very good game. I was getting little bits and pieces of it because we were in meetings at the time. But it was a really good game. I enjoyed it, man, so I'm expecting big things out of Oregon State this year.
Is your guy Hushmanzada down there, your former college teammate and Bengals teammate? Is he running around? We'll hear from you guys a little bit later on. You get with TJ and you can analyze it in the second half. There he is.
He's somewhere. He's around here somewhere. I don't know where he went.
Chad, thank you. The alma mater has a first down at the 19. Canfield rolls left. That's Bernard. Well defended. And Canfield now flips it to him very late. Defense popped him, then kind of gave up on him. Now they say that he stepped out of bounds, incomplete. We'll hear from Chad a little bit later on. We'll see what Oregon State can get out of this drive.
That was a nice little job of buying himself some time and a great effort by Bernard to find a little soft spot.
I'm seeing a presence in the backfield at quarterback now. A little bit more of control and not just frazzled back there.
He wasn't rushed there. He was very deliberate about what he was doing. He saw everything, allowed it to develop, and Bernard bailed him out. He was ready to throw it away out of bounds, but Bernard gave him a place to go with the ball.
As the alumni superstar crew looks on, Canfield has recovered from that first interception. That bad decision that he made early in the game. Much more poised now. And a timeout on 2nd and long. Want to be exactly sure of the play call here as Oregon State tries to take the lead here midway 2nd quarter. Oregon State's one and only appearance at a BCS Bowl came at the end of the 2000 season when Chad Johnson, TJ Houshmandzadeh just ran right past the Fighting Irish. 2 touchdowns for Johnson. Houshmandzadeh 74 yards and a touchdown. 41-9 the beatdown. And Dennis Erickson, the coach of Oregon State, of course, has now moved to Arizona State. And that'll be an interesting game when the Beavers and the Sun Devils hook up later this season.
A couple of big play guys, huh?
The Irish never knew what hit them. Neither did their fans. 2nd and long. Canfield steps up, has plenty of room to run, takes off. A stiff arm and a little too more horizontal on that run.
Okay, speed is not his best asset.
Well, I think, Chris, you used the wrong adjective. He takes off.
Well, at least get upfield. He tried to run. If you're that slow, you got to know you got to go straight, right?
Yeah, it was a very good decision to take off. He took his time. He stepped up. He saw an opening. He could have gone just north and south, but he wanted to show his lack of speed.
Yeah, he's a pocket passer, that's for sure.
Okay.
I don't think that Cincinnati will be putting a spy on him anytime soon.
Play 12 with this drive, 3rd and 6. Canfield over the middle, incomplete. Threw it too high for Anthony Brown. Not a real good throw. Brown coming across the middle. Had a step.
I don't know. He put a little touch on it, laid it in front of him. I didn't see exactly where the ball was, but it's a ball that I thought Brown maybe could have pulled in.
No, it's a bad throw.
Yeah,
and we saw it yesterday in red zone yesterday. And Mike Riley, who never, I don't think, curses. Well, I never curse. He says, "Jiminy Italy, what was that?" You know, I mean, he threw a ball over his ball. You know.
Yeah, he doesn't swear.
Cerna back out there after missing from 38. This is 31 yards. I was going to say you had to wonder if taking on the punting duties distracts him a bit as a kicker, but that time he knocks it right through. 3-3 approaching halftime at Cincinnati.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. And Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good.
Just about every stop on the college football tour has its culinary traditions here in Cincy. Skyline Chili's been at it since 1966. James has tried every place we've got.
Well, Todd Blackledge on Saturday nights, he's doing a culinary, exploration deal.
Yeah.
What the heck? We're getting left out of the deal. What's Blackledge got going on?
That guy needed a little pasta with his cheese, don't you think?
He need a little.
You're talking about Coach Kelly?
No.
Oh, okay.
He needs to get on that meats, berries, and leaves diet we were talking about.
Ouch, Doug.
No,
I'm
sorry there, Coach. I didn't mean that. I was just slipping in the
He looks good.
Another tradition here is a place called Chicken on the Run, and Kelly has made public appearances at places like Chicken on the Run to try to drum up support, meet with the folks. That's what you do when you're trying to market and build a program.
Great
the directional kick, they go near the sidelines here, and Jacob Ramsey, as Ramsey straight ahead, a flag is down. He stopped at the 25-yard line. We'll check the flag on the return. Gerard Lawson, the other number 5 besides Canfield, the backup safety, is one of the studs of the special teams for Oregon State.
Now that's how you kick off, though, directionally, right there. Great hang time, 4+ seconds.
You flirted with the kicking it out of bounds, but you don't want to do, though. The illegal block in the back, though. Another miscue for Cincinnati will back them up, create poor field position.
Number 7 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
We need an update, a fix on that Louisville Wild Middle Tennessee. Let's check with Reese.
Chris, good news for Louisville. They're close to being on pace of their average of 79 points a game as Anthony Allen goes in to score to make it 38-28. The bad news for Kragthorpe's Cardinals is that Middle Tennessee is keeping pace. Philip Tanner goes in. It's 38-35. They've had over 750 yards of offense.
in the first half.
We've had over 100 yards of offense almost in this game. Yeah, is that a concern? You see Middle Tennessee State, obviously Louisville's defense is the weakest part of the team.
Absolutely. You know, because we talked about Louisville's offense and their high power and everything. And Louisville's defense, Mike Cassidy, their defensive coordinator, normally one of the better coordinators in the country.
Are they going to be able to stop West Virginia if they're letting up that many points today?
Can anybody stop West Virginia? Can anybody?
Good point.
This year. They didn't really stop them last year. It was just turnovers that keyed the Cardinals' win. Benton is the tailback on 2nd and 9. Slides behind Mauk in motion. And Ben flushed again. He's been chased all night. Fires downfield. This time it's caught. Coming back for the football and making a nice catch. Marcus Barnett. He's one of the youngsters, the newcomers here, the freshman.
Yeah, he's
22 yards.
And, you know, we talked earlier about the receivers working to get open, Doug. This is exactly what Barnett did. And a young man like that, giving the quarterback an option.
He worked back down the sideline when he saw his quarterback scrambling towards him in trouble. He was deep, came back down the sideline, and gave him a place to put the ball.
You call him Bones. 165 pounds is being generous.
6'1",
yeah.
165 pounds. Skin and bones.
Bones moves the chains, though. Mott looks left quickly. Pressured again. Held it too long. Cannot get away. And Mauk, Aaron dropped back at the 30. There is a flag in the secondary. That's the 4th sack for the Beavers. If it stands up, we'll have to check the marker. That's defensive holding. It'll nullify what would have been the 4th sack. Slade Norris, the backup and the junior, in there again. He's already had a couple of sacks tonight.
Number 23 on the defense. 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. First down.
It's on Brian Payton, and it does nullify that sack. The Bearcats will be up near the 48-yard line, Aaron.
Chris, of course, you saw the photos of Ben Mauk's arm. Last year, he broke his arm, separated his shoulder. That thing is held together by screws in 16 pieces of titanium. Brian Kelly told us yesterday, physically, he does not think Mauk is where he was last year when he first played that game at Wake Forest. And he said this is a huge test to see if physically he is able to pass throughout the rest of the year.
His arm is still not 100%, Aaron, but he can make most of the throws, and he's got a wealth of experience. There's a pretty nice throw, trying to come down with it, but not free. Barnett went high, and Payton was there to hit him. Bones got his bones racked there.
I'll tell you, Barnett went up, put 2 hands on that football, knowing he would get hit, almost held onto it. A great hit, knocks it out. I thought the inside receiver going down the middle of the field had a shot of being open on that play.
Those rib bones were unprotected, though. Almost held up. Did he?
You know what? He had control of that football. He had control of the football. It came to the ground.
And was in control.
He's in control. He's in control. He's in control. He's in control. The ground causes the ball to come out.
Fumble can't cause no ground.
Because we had a teammate literally in New England one year. Chris, this guy told us in a meeting, fumble can't cause no ground.
I know what you mean. There's the whistle here. Well, just before the snap, the replay booth decided that that one's worth another look.
The prior play is under review.
Again, it's a Big East crew just in the nick of time. That Cincinnati didn't exactly give them a lot of time to get the decision made about the replay, but just before the snap, word came to the field, they're going to take a look at this. You think he had control of this ball?
I really do. I really do.
Very close.
And I think once he touches the ground, he's down.
Okay, so his ribs were hit. The ball is kind of juggled there.
And the defender rerouted his body in the air.
It was Payton on the hit. Barnett may have had control just before the ball comes loose right there, but will it be enough to overturn the call on the field?
Okay, 1, 2 yards. He carried that ball 3 yards in the air and controlled it at least. Would y'all agree with that?
Yes.
In the air, he controlled the ball for 3+ yards.
The rolling on the field is confirmed. The pass was incomplete. It will be second down.
Yeah, take that, James. Apparently,
wait a minute.
The officials disagree.
Did you hear me say that I think it's a catch? I was simply giving you an opinion, an option, something to think about. I was giving you some food, brother.
I don't think he had control for whatever you said, 3 yards.
Make it simple. Throw to the inside receiver who was a little more open.
All right.
Then we don't worry about that. That was a heck of an effort, though, by both receiver and defensive back.
2nd and 10. Benton is the setback. Mauk takes a shot downfield. Miscommunication. The breaking off the route was Goodman. Pretty well covered by Keenan Lewis, and Mauk fired over his head.
Good anticipation. He was setting his feet throwing, but the receiver slipped down just as the ball was released. Good tight coverage.
I think his arm's okay.
It looks fine. He's making all the throws, the upfield throws, everything. As long as his feet are under him, it takes the pressure all.
They're not. I mean, right now his feet aren't working for him, and that's why his balls are off.
Control roll. Pressure comes again. Mauk escapes. Fires downfield. Caught near the first down marker. No, they say out of bounds. Lewis once again there on coverage.
Just another exceptional effort by Mauk. He's a little more athletic and moving around, and it would have been a completion had the receiver not been pushed out, Craig.
And I'm going to wait till I see it here.
I'm coming down in bounds.
He's coming down in bounds.
But in college, it doesn't matter.
The left foot, I think, hit out of bounds before the right foot in the field.
See, they're thinking about the pro rule.
Left foot hit first.
Look at the rotation on that ball. Beautiful spiral.
Yeah.
I say this, the receivers are working now. Cincinnati guys are going up for the ball.
Now 2 close calls, and now
we're going to review this.
No, just a timeout.
That is their first time out of the half.
So, Bearcats in punt formation. When you come back, what has been a defensive struggle so far here in Cincinnati. Hot night Cincinnati. Chris Fowler, Doug Flutie, Craig James, and Aaron Andrews. Neither offense has been all that hot. The Bearcats only 54 total yards. Pressure that Oregon State defense has been tough for Bedmont to overcome. Promising drive, stalling at the 48. Kevin Huber has been punting very well tonight. All 3 of his punts so far over 53 yards. This is an ugly little kick. Tries to aim it out of bounds, and it does go out at about the 27 or 8 yard line. So Oregon State will go back on offense. The night of college football on ESPN continues. A clash of 2 top 10 teams. Virginia Tech, off the emotional win over East Carolina at home, travels to a very tough place, Baton Rouge, with the defense we saw a week ago set the tee off on Sean Glennon. First one to 7 wins.
It could be.
Virginia Tech needs to put all the distractions behind them now and move forward and play a lot better than they did last week to compete with LSU.
Even today, they had to change their practice schedule because of a concert taking place on campus.
Not just any concert. Dave Matthews Band.
Good one.
Bernard the carry, and of course that concert was on. It was in an attempt to raise money for the Hokie Spirit Fund and boost spirits on campus. Aaron?
Chris had a chance to speak with Vodtek's offensive coordinator Brian Steinspring today. He said he felt, this past game versus ECU, obviously a lot of emotions, but he felt once his offense hit the field, they looked like they were just relieved to be out there. This week in practice, they haven't talked about the pressure or the emotions at all. They've just talked about the executions that they missed last week. Obviously, the biggest key is the running game. He said we've got to get inside and outside with Brandon, or we're facing 8 guys that could be first-round picks.
Or did nothing in the running game in the opener against ECU. And so far, Evanson Bernard hasn't done much for the Beavers either. Angelo Craig, an active evening on the defensive end. They're all over 26.
The last play, Bernard kind of picked his way through nice and patient. It looked like the running game might get started, but boom, right away, penetration on the next play, cuts him down in the backfield.
Well, an All-American guard is missing from Oregon State, and Jeremy Perry. And, that might be having a big impact on the work of the offensive line up front.
He's got a leg injury. Adam Spear, though, has some experience. His backup, whatever the reason, they haven't blocked very well for that guy. So on 3rd down, Canfield will throw. It's complete. Caught by the tight end, Kroom. Still on his feet. They try to rip the ball out of his hands, but Oregon State will be set up at the 48.
Was that one of those piles that maybe I could go get a lick on, or a kicker might get a part of?
You and Cerna. You'd be like, gnats bouncing off a horse's fanning.
It was a nice throw. Stuck it in the middle of a crowd there on a curl route in the zone. Good timing on the throw. Snuck it in there.
They use the tight end a lot. Joe Newton, a very fine tight end. They lost to graduation. He's on the Seahawks practice squad. But Kroom, a sophomore, again, the cousin of Sylvester Kroom, showing that he can be a weapon as well. Third catch of the night. Canfield. Miscommunication, intercepted. Intercepted by Corey Smith. Still fighting free, finally corralled down near the 30. Good pressure from Angelo Craig. Bearcats D makes their second pick of Canfield tonight.
The pressure in the backfield tips it, I believe, when the ball's released.
This was an opportunity actually to go downfield on a deep corner route coming up top. Look up top here. He had a chance to go for the big one over the top. He goes underneath and the ball gets hit or tipped. Maybe hitting the elbow and ends up an intercepted.
He spotted Doug. He had a man wide open downfield.
He had an opportunity. These play action passes are designed to take big chunks and take a look. He gives up on the downfield throw, comes back underneath, and is actually his own man falling into
What did I say to you guys yesterday? We're watching practice about Canfield's arm and where his release point is. It's up there high. He gets hit. The ball really came out not at the point of release that he wanted it to come from.
Well, with big guys and the ball up high like that, sometimes it's a real deliberate release.
So UC takes over at the 31. Benton is the tailback. Mauk fires complete. And Barnett shoved out of bounds at the 20. Let's go to Reese Davis. Find out what's up in store at halftime.
And Chris, on the Pontiac Performance halftime report, the Cardinals of Louisville in crisis. We will show you the offensive fireworks going on there. Take you down on the bayou for the defensive battle and a look ahead to LSU and Virginia Tech. And Lou will fire up Michigan. Wait till you hear this speech. It's coming up in a bit.
You see the highlights of Louisville, Reese. Two very, very different games tonight involving Big East teams. Butler Benton around the end, shoved out of bounds at the 5. A rare, productive play from the running game tonight for UC.
I was getting ready to say, take your time here, use up the last minute 20 of this half and get some points. They decide to run the ball, but they bust the best run of the night.
You know, and it's just set up by the offensive line and the lack of containment by Oregon State.
I know you like the no huddle and hurry up tempo, but you want to try to eat up the rest of this clock if you can.
Why don't we get in the end zone first, Coach?
Do it all. Do it all.
I don't know if I'd be so worried about Oregon State getting the ball back the way they've struggled on offense tonight. First and goal at the 5. Benton is the setback. Mauk fires to the end zone. Touchdown. Bones Barnett, their freshman. His first career touchdown. That is how you cash in a turnover. 3 plays after the pick. First touchdown of the evening. Riley's team in a hole here on the road. It's been an adventure making the PAT so far this season for Cincinnati. But Jake Rogers, just 1 of 3 last week, converts that one.
The discipline of Barnett for a freshman is outstanding. But the reason they get this opportunity is because of the turnover by the defense. Arm redirected, and the big play by the defense to give the ball to the offensive field position.
All the points have been set up by turnovers. Throws a nice corner route, man-to-man coverage, got the good outside release and had a step on the defender. Beautifully thrown ball. Nice catch. Both outside receivers come down and under to clear it out. The inside receiver goes to the corner of the end zone.
And he beat Afalava, the safety, matched up on the speedy freshman. So Canfield and the 2 interceptions tonight really hurt Oregon State. Bearcats just 85 total yards, but all 10 of those points off turnovers, and they have the lead.
You cannot turn the ball over and win. You can't do it. You have to protect the football, but you have to be aggressive at the same time. It's a discipline that comes in your reads and progressions. 1 to 2 to 3. You let your feet tell you where to go with the ball and bring it out on time, and you avoid the turnover.
Your feet tell you where to go with the ball.
The feet tell you where
explain
and
that
when.
to me? I haven't ever heard that.
It's the timing of the route is tied in with the quarterback's feet. It's tied in with the drop. You know when you're standing there too long. You know when it's time to come off number 1 and number 2 because you hit that 5th step and the guy wasn't open. Now you take the hitch up and you look to number 2. When he's there,
hey, there you go.
The ball comes out.
So simple, huh?
So simple.
Yeah. And then there's 4 guys that weigh about 300 pounds ready to take your head off, and you can't see anything. Well, when you're 5'10", you can't see. This guy.
Nice.
Lawson takes it for Oregon State, has a crease. A flag flies as Lawson is dropped at the 32-yard line. Check the Applebee's weekend menu. Good matchups around the country. As we'll check the flag.
Don't get confused. That's not Sean Canfield returning the kick. That's Lawson. They're both number 5 out there.
Yeah, that is not the quarterback. That's a good call.
Just letting you know.
We've seen his speed already. I would not put him in kick
During
return.
the return, holding number 41 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul.
Wait, I thought, Chris, though, you said that Canfield, he took off.
He did take off.
And he's
blasted off.
Slowly took off. Notre Dame visits Penn State again with Clausen taking over at quarterback. We talked about the game in Baton Rouge. Tomorrow night, Rutgers gets a test from Navy.
Boston College was very lucky to beat Navy in a bowl game. Navy's a good football team. They will give Rutgers fits. Boston College should have lost to Navy.
You know what? How about that, Chris? Doug finds a way to bring Boston College into the...
Hey, there's a minute on the clock. Be quiet. Here we go.
And see what Mike Riley does with just a minute to go. He hands it to Bernard. And Bernard's tough first half continues. His 11th carry. He's got just 20 yards in the first half.
I believe that the Oregon State offensive line has to regroup at halftime. That's where the adjustment has to be made for the Beavers offense. It's up front.
They are a running football team. You got to go with your.
But they don't want to be. Remember what Mike Riley told us. We want to be balanced.
Balanced. They need to be able to throw the football.
Canfield flips it short. Bernard looking for blocks and is smacked again after a short gain. See if Cincinnati decides to maybe spend a timeout to force a punt. That's what they'll do.
That's why they decided to score quickly, Chris.
Oh.
So they could stop, get the ball back again, and score. That's what it was.
You already take Marty in.
This is a chance for Oregon State to reverse its recent history. You know, they came and lost at Louisville, lost big at Boise State. Everson Bernard feels the team and he personally are disrespected. Watching ESPN talking about running backs, never sees his name running across the screen. But that's the East Coast for you. What do you think? East Coast bias? The Pac-10 team's been saying that for years.
There are flashier runners out there. He's fantastic. I love him. He runs hard. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. He does a lot of things good. But this tonight shows that a running back is dependent on his offensive line.
I think what this shows tonight is that Oregon State's come in here and facing a Big East team in Cincinnati that's given them more than they were expecting. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think they brought their A game with them.
They leave it at the hotel?
Yeah. Better go pick it up.
Bernard has touched it a total of 17 times tonight. Produced just 33 yards. There's touch number 18. He's still running hard. Gang tackling hammers him. First down yardage at the 25. And now a very late flag as there's a scuffle at the bottom of the pile. Stops the clock with 15 seconds in the first half.
When the umpire loses his hat, somebody's getting a yellow flag.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 76 on the offense, personal foul, number 16 on the defense. The penalty's offset.
Now, the losing the hat thing, is that more of a rule or a guideline?
That's just a general guideline.
Okay.
I think it was 18 Cedric Tolbert for Cincinnati. Tavita Thompson. It's been a frustrating night for that offensive line you talked about there. Take old Tavita there, 319 pounds against Tolbert, who goes 205 one-on-one.
But that was a physical run, and maybe that's what they need. Get a little fire, get a little passion about it. Bernard ran hard there, busted 2 or 3 tackles, made 5 or 6 guys have to hit him to bring him down.
But it has been a frustrating first 30 minutes for the Oregon State Beavers. Cincinnati converts 2 interceptions into 10 points, and the Bearcats out of the Big East with a 10-3 lead. The Pontiac Performance halftime report. Let's go back to Reese Davis. Canfield, the lefty, fires, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Haruki Nakamura. And he just snuck it through. He knocks it right through. 3-3. First to go at the 5. Benton is the setback. Mauk fires to the end zone. Touchdown. So Bones Barnett, first career touchdown. The only touchdown of the first half. Kind of a weird half. Oregon State with all the firepower. Cincinnati, the up-tempo spread offense. We thought we'd see a lot more from both offenses, but instead, the team that has run negative 21 yards in the first half is leading 10-3 thanks to takeaways.
I had the impression coming into this game that Cincinnati was hoping that they could stay with Oregon State's defense after listening to the coaches and the players. My opinion now would be that Cincinnati's team goes in at halftime full of confidence, and they're going to come out, particularly their offensive line, who I thought might struggle in this game.
You know, I'm looking at the Oregon State side and saying, just don't turn the ball over. That's where all the points are coming from Cincinnati. You're making some plays in the passing game. Got to get that running game going, but don't turn it over. Otherwise, you're just not going to give yourself a shot in this ballgame.
And neither running game has gotten going. Here's our Home Depot coaching adjustments for the second half.
Talk about the running game. It all starts up front. It's really been an offensive line that has been pushed back. And Evanson Bernard, the all Pac-10 runners, had nothing.
Tell you what, the play actions have given them the best opportunity. Almost had a shot for the deep corner there. I think the DB actually was playing between and made a good play. Arm gets bumped, it ends up an interception. But go after those play action deep down the field throws. I think that is where Oregon State can make some plays in the passing game.
So Bernard limited to 38 yards on 18 touches, and Sammy Strotter, who had a ball go off his hands on the first play from scrimmage for Oregon State, shut out at a big punt return. Beavers came up empty after that, and Oregon State will get the ball to begin the second half. I'm not sure how much confidence that offense for Cincinnati can be feeling. Their offensive line didn't really block them at all in the first half.
Yeah, they got to have more confidence in Oregon State.
I don't know. Beavers did move the ball better. It's Lawson on the return. Lawson just tripped up. Gets out near the 30-yard line as we check in with Aaron Andrews.
Chris had a chance to speak with Oregon State head coach Mike Riley on the way out from the locker room. He said simply his offensive line was surprised about how quick Cincinnati's defense really is. He pointed to number 82, Angelo Craig, and said this guy is fast, and he has been killing us. Also, he mentioned Bearcats defense. They've just been sustaining blocks, and they have been coming off them well. He said we simply can't run the ball, and that's the biggest adjustment we need to make.
It was a quality defense last year under Mark D'Antonio. We have a defensive-minded coach who took off from Michigan State. Joe Treacy, the defensive coordinator under Kelly. His defense has looked impressive.
Shut down a very good running attack.
We'll try Bernard, first play of the second half, a very short gain.
Go back to your bread and butter, get the running game going, can open the play action for some big plays.
Well, and just as Aaron found out from Mike Riley, back to the bread and butter, that's back to what their game plan was, Doug. I mean, they wanted to run the football in this game and demoralize Cincinnati's defense.
That north-south running game right at them, they felt they were bigger and stronger, and the quickness might be a problem.
Second and 7. Bernard bounces it a little bit, gets away. It's within 2 yards of a first down. Nakamura helped out by Manilak on the tackle.
Again, though, positive yards, keep yourself in good down and distance, a manageable third down situation.
5 of 10 on third down in the first half for Oregon State. Some of those were long. thanks to miscues and penalties. This one, a very manageable 2 yards. And Bernard takes the pitch, hit in the backfield, a loss. No fumble, it's blown dead. Trucking down the field was Leo Morgan, the senior linebacker. Bernard did not lose the ball, but did not get the first down.
I look at body
have a
language.
chance.
I look at body language. A dejected offensive line walks off the field. A Bearcat defense runs off the field.
You can't convert on 3rd and 2, though. That'll deject your offensive line. Angelo Craig, number 82, the defensive end. Terrific night. So Cerna, mixed results in his second game as a collegiate punter in the first half. Gets it away quickly off the outside of his foot. Catching it short as Nakamura hit immediately. Kind of an ugly punt, and the Bearcats will take over at the 36, trying to get this offense going. 25 or 31 yards in sacks, 3 given up, reflecting the negative 21 on the ground.
Neither team has been able to run the ball. Canfield actually at times has looked like he's thrown the ball very well. His biggest issue was the 2 interceptions.
Cincinnati unable to convert, 0 for 5 on 3rd down in the first half. Butler bent on the shovel pass is hit immediately. Quick reaction by Victor Butler, the defensive end, not fooled.
You see the defensive line. Oregon State started with this same thing opening series. They go 3 defensive linemen, an extra linebacker up there that looks like a defensive lineman, but they're really trying to go smaller for the up tempo.
Yeah, it's really a 4 down.
Butler hit Butler on that time.
Even though one guy is standing up.
2nd and 10. They bring 5 in the rush in the slot. Marshawn Gilliard trying to shake free. Marshawn had a quiet first half, but the sophomore picks up 14 before Daniel Drayton got him.
That was pretty. I mean, rhythm throwing, a slant route, set your feet, let it fly, hit him out of the break, right in the chest. Nice throw and catch. You can't stop that when it's done that well.
Gilliard's a terrific story. We'll talk about it. Tough times for him, but he's overcome that to get back on this football team. Benton with the handoff, has a crease, and now some positive plays for that Bearcat offense down to the 35. He's holding his right arm, Benton, as he trots off. Greg Moore will replace him.
And Benton is their best pass blocking back. They have 3 that are by committee, and they're all about the same running the ball. But make no mistake about it, 23 in the backfield on passing plays is who they want back there.
Now it's Moore, who was their leading rusher a year ago. 700-yard man filling in for Benton. They fake it to him in the slot. Ball is caught by Barnett. 165 pounds. He's not getting away in traffic. Joey LaRock, the linebacker, corralled him.
Great reaction by the Oregon State defense. A lot of people running to the football. The hit screen to the wide receiver. Again, you know, these are controlled. We haven't really seen either team go up the field and make the big play in the passing game.
LaRock, the linebacker, they're not afraid to put on a slot receiver. The Oregon State defenders pretty quick and handled that assignment well so far. Look at the wide splits in the defensive line there. 3 down linemen on 2nd and 10. It's a running play. Moore picking his way to the left for a short gain. They saw the wide splits and they figured let's try to run it, but they close those gaps quickly.
And you know, and it's the right thing to try to get up in there. But you know, when you talk about the defense, look how wide they are across the line of scrimmage. And so there are some big gaps that you can run at. But you got to get down the hill if you get the football in your arms.
Yeah, he's not the quickest cat in the world, Moore. Picked up 3, 3rd and 7. Empty set backfield for Mauk. 5 receivers. And he takes it straight to the middle on a design run and has a first down inside the 25. Old zipper arm. Shows the wheels there.
I think this was an audible. He had a 3 down line. Again, big splits. Spread the defense out. It was man coverage on the outside. I think he audibled there to the quarterback draw, and Mauk has been more mobile than I anticipated.
Well, you didn't listen to me then.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Didn't I tell
Dad.
you that the guy had
I'm
good
sorry.
feet?
Didn't I tell you the phone in the limo is busted?
Oh, here we go. Flutie's off the rails with the wacky references. Explain to our audience.
Yeah.
Explain.
Eddie Murphy movie.
Okay.
I'm sorry, people.
By the way, Butler Benton back in the ball game, so that injury to the arm not serious. And he has the football. Nothing. Oregon State with the offense struggling big time tonight. Does not want to fall much farther behind. I know there's a lot of time, but Cincinnati a chance to really take command of this game.
Emotionally, you know, that's where they're losing the game right now. I just don't feel like, Doug, you said earlier they were running to the ball at least.
Yeah, they're flying around on the outside, some speed, quickness, but it's nickel and dime. When you spread people out, it creates space, and you just need a partial block to get 4 yards, or just a short completion to pick up that 4 yards.
Barnett, the freshman, bones.
Mauk. Flag flies as he's chased for the pocket and fires downfield for the end zone. Incomplete. It was just over the hands of Barnett. That flag is in the holding area, though.
Again, showing some mobility, good vision downfield off of the scramble. Almost had a big play. Almost.
They're having a heck of a time, though.
I'd like to see a completion over. I'd like to see a completion over 20 yards.
Six on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat, second down.
Trevor Canfield, who one of the offensive linemen, the second team All Big East, who really slimmed down. He's at 295, down about 35 pounds from what he played at last year. That diet that the strength coach Paul Longo talked about: meat, leaves, and berries. And no pasta, no bread, nothing like that.
So we went down as a team yesterday to kind of research the weight room, and Erin goes down there. She does a strong workout.
Yeah, but the point
Longo was coaching us all up on the diet. Yeah, all the guys are in shape. They all dropped weight.
It's Benton for a short gain.
And with the no-huddle offense, they need to be in shape. They need to outlast this team. They think they're going to have an advantage in the third and fourth quarter.
Well, I mean, the guy is really a real added benefit to this program. You know, you talked about earlier in the broadcast about being a third coordinator. A lot of these schools now around the country, those guys have the players for 3 straight months.
And all that time. He worked with Hayden Fry in Iowa for years. Longo did, and he makes about what a coordinator makes. I mean, he's a very important part of the program.
Coaches say that their strength and conditioning guy spends more time with the players than they do, especially over a 3-month period in the offseason.
3rd and 19. And the snap gets away. Mauk has to chase it down. The ball still loose. Now Mauk falls on it, but way back at the Cincinnati 48. The second time we've seen a problem on the snap tonight. They lose 19 yards. They were first down at the 24-yard line a couple plays ago, guys. Now they have to punt.
You know, he's not looking. The snap was snapped early. The negative plays are killing them down and distance-wise. They had a holding penalty of the second bad snap or mishandling on the shotgun snap. This time he wasn't even ready for it because he must have been audibilizing and the center snapped it early.
And it's Chris Jurek. He's a sophomore center. First-year starter. Huber boots it deep. Strutter called for a fair catch. Lost the football down inside the 5. They're signaling Cincinnati ball. Brad Jones on the recovery thought maybe Strutter was bumped into as he tried to make that fair catch.
Real close to an interference there on the catch.
But again, we're talking about an all-American wide receiver, kick returner that just hasn't been out. The fair catch,
he's bumped.
Strutter, he moved into.
That doesn't matter.
And he gets touched.
He has to be able to field the ball, though. Jones got over there. The man who recovered the ball bumped into him.
That's not a reviewable play.
No, it's not. And Cincinnati, 1st and goal in the 3rd Oregon State turnover. Power I formation. Lathar, who's their short yardage back, a couple of touchdowns last week, stopped for a loss. Beaver defense in a tough position here.
The punter's a left-footed punter, and the ball, when it comes down, it's a different drop out of the sky, and it took him in a direction right into the cover man.
The spin on the ball the opposite direction will make it fade the opposite way that you're used to.
Second and goal. In motion out of the power eye. Glathar has it running left. Touchdown. Well, Cincinnati has been a very efficient offense tonight. They haven't done a whole lot, but they have cashed in 3 Beaver turnovers into 17 points pending the conversion here by Jake Rogers.
Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers.
That last one, though, fairly controversial as the tough night for Sammy Stroughter continues. Bumped into inside the 5, coughs it up, and Glathar finds the end zone. 17-3. Now, Section 4, Article 1 says that a returner must be given an unimpeded opportunity to catch the kick. Cannot be bumped into simultaneous to the ball getting there or before it gets there. Stroughter was bumped. Officials don't see it that way, and the Big East crew set up Cincinnati on the 2-yard line. They punch it in. This guy dealing with grief, personal issues, coming back to the football team tonight for the first time. He did have a nice punt return earlier, but it's been a difficult evening, and now we'll have to try to do something to gain redemption as Oregon State finds itself in a 14-point hole midway third quarter.
Definitely bumped on that, impeded.
But not reviewable, unfortunately.
Not reviewable.
The limits of the replay rule. This is Lawson. Nice deep kickoff. Lawson at the goal line. Met at the 23. So Oregon State hoping for a showcase win and a rare trip east. Down by 2 touchdowns in the Queen City.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. We're keeping an eye on that Middle Tennessee Louisville game over on ESPN2. The scoring has slowed down. Only a field goal in the second half. 41-35. Louisville with the lead. Middle's faced with a 4th and 9. Down the 30-yard line or so in Louisville territory, Chris.
The scoring picked up a little bit here, Reese. Cincinnati has Oregon State in a hole. We'll see if they get away from the game plan of running Bernard down a couple of touchdowns. Canfield flips it into traffic, almost intercepted again, coming over late. It was Mickens, the corner, lobbed it into traffic. Very dangerous.
Had a couple of picks last week. Could have had one, should have had one there.
Brought one back for a touchdown against Southeast Missouri State. And Canfield, the quarterback, was going to be the issue this year for Oregon State. Experienced defense. Bernard, an established running back. But trying to step in, Sean Canfield. He's gone the whole distance tonight. We haven't seen Lyle Moyvow, the backup, yet. Play action. Short flip. Inaccurate throw, and Bernard couldn't hold on to it.
You know, that's 2 plays in a row where he's been a little jumpy in the pocket. He forced that seam route. This ball, he came to the right guy on the check down, but led him too far. Needs to find some completion, but he's got a 3rd and 10 on his hands now. Got to go upfield.
But no surprise, Oregon State knew they had to get their wide receivers going in the passing game going.
You know, they were depending on the fact that they could run the ball and then off of that use your play action. And when the running game's gone, we're going to find out what this kid's made of, what this passing offense can do.
Canfield just 2 for his last 7. Faces 3rd and 10. They bring the corner blitz. Hit as he throws a low delivery, and it bounced on the rug. 3 and out for the Beavers. Anthony Williams came off the edge. The strong safety pressuring the backside of Canfield.
Showed it on both sides, pulled out, really confused the backside protection. The lineman couldn't get out for it. The pressure, just the timing is not there on the passing game.
The guard was late coming out because of a linebacker bluffing inside, and the blitz came off the corner, and it was a half a step late to get out there.
So Cerna back to punt. 2 3 and outs for the Beavers in this 3rd quarter. It's a low kick and a fair catch made at the 45 by Nakamura. Joined on the sidelines for another perspective on this game by former Cincinnati head coach Rick Minter, one of the men who built the foundation here. You've seen Brian Kelly come in, your son, an assistant coach for him. What do you make of the transition and the expectations? Talk of championship football here, Rick.
Well, I think number one, we did some good things over our 10 years here. Then came Mark D'Antonio, took it, I think, to another level with the big win over Rutgers last year. I thought it was a great hire when they hired Brian Kelly, kind of a running gun, fast break guy that's very confident, 16, 17-year-old vet, you know. But they've got the Cats playing hard. You know, it's led by their special teams and their offensive attack, which is spread them out and let it happen. But they're doing a great job.
And the Cats take over on the 45. And they hand it off to Benton. What are the challenges, Rick, that you think Brian Kelly faces as he talks of winning Big East championships and increasing the profile of the Bearcats here in the city?
Well, I think they have to win the city over, and that's been a challenge here for all the coaches that have come and gone and left Cincinnati. It's a pro football town. The Cincinnati Bengals obviously owns a large share of this town on the entertainment dollar. But it's great high school football, evidenced by Kurt Herbstreit's weekend crew over here, you know, where Ohio schools did a great job against schools around the country. So they have to do a great job recruiting the state, in particular the area, and I think they're making tremendous inroads in doing that.
Kelly has talked about getting the real super blue chip recruit that can lead others here to UC, the way that Louisville got Brian Brom to commit a few years ago. Mauk again pressured. The flag flies. He fires complete on the sidelines. It's caught at the 41-yard line by Benton, but again that flag is in the holding zone. This one will come back. Rick, is this a valid model that Kelly talks about building on the Louisville model? Of course, when you were coaching here, they didn't have the Big East to draw on, so it was a bigger challenge. Can Cincinnati become the next Louisville?
Well, I think they have the capabilities of doing so, yes. We have Ohio to recruit here in the city of Cincinnati, and I think Louisville has done it a little more difficult by having to recruit the state of Kentucky, which it doesn't yield year in and year out quite the talent level of players. They've done it elsewhere. They've done it in Alabama and Florida, et cetera. But I think there's a good venue here. There's a good niche for college football here. It's a little bit of a hard sell, but I think with Brian's personality and his ability to kind of jump up on the soapbox a little bit, if you will, and the style of play that he has, I think it's going to keep fans excited. It's a nice crowd out here tonight.
It is, even though school's not in session. He can jump on the soapbox pretty good, can't he, Brian?
I'll tell you what, now, I was here a couple of weeks ago, and he went out and challenged the media now.
I know.
And, so, you know, sometimes you have to do that. We had the same challenges when I was here that, you know, the local media, for whatever reason, didn't, you know, jump on planes and buses and head over toward the Big East outing. But I think that'll come. Everything about UC, to me, is about perception.
You know, Rick, though, if the media can't get involved if they hold on here, Cincinnati, and they beat an Oregon State team that's hot and strong and just beat USC, what can you do to get them excited?
Well, I just think it's going to be a constant effort, to be honest with you. You know, you can cast stones, but you're not going to win that battle, as you well know. You're not going to beat the media, and you just have to do it by staying positive and keep getting guys out here, you know, keep offering up the 2-for-1s, whatever it takes to get fans in the stands, to where the recruits see that and say, this is a place I want to be and call home, and make it happen here in Cincinnati, just like we did when we got Gino Gaduli to stay home, and he had a great career here.
On the third down attempt, Dominic Goodman apparently interfered with in the secondary. Daniel Drayton, the safety, came over in coverage. Rick, you had a couple of stints at Notre Dame as well. The Irish very much in the news after the loss to Georgia Tech and visiting Penn State. Now, what do you make, as it is going to be interference against Oregon State, which will give a first down to Cincinnati? What do you make of the Irish in their tough first 8 games here?
It's going to be a challenge, to be honest with you. I think Charlie's a great football coach, and he'll find a way to work things out. But to say it's not a rebuilding year, I think is a little bit of a stretch. It's just a youthful football team, and it starts under center. I love Jimmy Clausen. Got to know him quite well in the recruiting process, and I'd do nothing but wish him well upcoming in Happy Valley. It's a heck of a place to start your career. I know that because I've been there before, and it's a tremendous college atmosphere. Only if you're the home team. Yeah. But I think Charlie will find a way to get it done. But, you know, they're going to take their lumps a little bit, and they're just going to have to buckle down and you know, do what they do best and live and die with it.
This is Benton, tough running, almost 10 yards. Rick, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Rick Minter, the former coach of the Bearcats, and his son is getting into coaching.
Hey, you know what? This is one of those deals where if you're an offensive lineman, you say, fellas, we got a chance to take him out and show him the woodshed.
Brian Kelly said, third quarter, fourth quarter, we expect to be in better shape. This fast-paced offense, as far as no huddle, should wear them down. We'll start moving the football. There's only 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And it's interesting, the strategy that Kelly has in practice about, not hitting a whole lot and saving it for game day. Kroom told us about that last week.
Yeah, it's worked so far. The defense has held all that energy and the frustration about not being able to hit in practice, and they've been doing some good hitting out here tonight.
That's that NFL mentality. Coach, you want me to hit today in practice, or you want me to hit on Sunday?
And there's Longo, the strength coach that helped get these Bearcats in shape for this up-tempo offense right down the line. Guys losing pounds and, more importantly, losing a whole lot of body fat.
Of course, yesterday we took advantage of Longo, and Doug and I are in there trying to ask what we need to do for all of our ailments.
Us old guys falling apart.
Benton tries to cut back, going nowhere. Oregon State, if they're going to have any chance of getting back into this game, has to make a defensive stand here. Right now, Bearcats in very marginal field goal range for their inexperienced kicker, Rogers.
Riley had a spirited, upbeat walkthrough yesterday. They broke a sweat, and he was trying to get his guys' motor ready to play.
They look better on Wednesday than so far on Thursday night, though.
Yeah.
On 2nd and 9, a fumbled snap, and that'll move them back out of field goal range now. Mauk does fall on it. They've had all kinds of trouble with that shotgun snap tonight.
Happening way too much, keeping them at it. They were in a second manageable situation, a 2nd and 7-ish. Pushes them back to 3rd and extra long. It's just, you need manageable situations.
That's quarterback's fault.
That's all. I'm afraid to admit it. That one's on the quarterback. All right, he took his eye off.
Jurek gave him a perfect snap. The veteran Mauk.
I tried, Ben. I tried to defend the quarterback as much as possible. I can't defend you on that one.
9th play of this drive is 3rd and 14. If they can't get the first down, they need at least a good-sized chunk, perhaps 10 yards to get back at field goal range. Pressure. Mauk gets away, fires incomplete over the head of Barwin, the tight end, almost intercepted.
Oregon State in the 3rd and extra long situations, bringing a blitz, overloading, so that Cincinnati cannot pick it up. The quarterback's got to get rid of it, and you make the tackle. Well, Mauk's doing a great job of buying time with his feet and moving around, and it's going to scare the living daylights out of a defensive coordinator, because then you can make a big play up the field.
Yeah, but that's Brian Kelly and the offensive staff really coaching them up to move the pocket and be aware of the push they were expecting to get up the middle.
Yeah, this is Jake Rogers, the freshman kicker. It's a 55-yard attempt. Trying for his first collegiate field goal, and the guy only played 1 year of high school football. Rogers gets it away, has good distance, and knocks it through.
Coach, I'm up here thinking they're going to pooch punt this thing. They're not kicking a 55-yarder.
I thought they're out of field goal range. This guy didn't show much last week. Missed a field goal and 2 PATs, but this is the time to come out. The bright lights, national TV, a field goal that puts your team up by 17 now, late 3rd quarter.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Gillette Fusion Power Phantom. For the best shave ever in manual and battery power, visit GilletteFusion.com for details. And Beck's, 4 natural ingredients, 1 distinctive beer. Beck's, life is what you choose.
This is definitely not on Coach Longo's Bearcat diet of meat, leaves, and berries, but Grater's Ice Cream is an institution here in Cincinnati.
You can have berries in ice cream.
Can you?
Sure. Just mix the
You
berries.
just got to take the berries out and
Just
ignore
eat
the
the
ice cream.
berries, right?
But the Bearcats, it hasn't always been pretty tonight. They've been opportunistic, and they are thumping right now an Oregon State team that came in with a 5-game winning streak. Arrived as one of the hottest teams on the West Coast. 9 out of 10 wins going back to last season. High hopes this season. And it's been a mistake-plagued evening for Oregon State. Lawson spins across the 30-yard line. Let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, Chris, Louisville's got a little breathing room now in Middle Tennessee. Just a little, not a lot. It's 41-35 at this point late in the 3rd quarter. And Brian Brom, who is approaching 400 yards passing, thrown for 4 touchdowns. That one again to Mario Urrutia. 51-35. It's on ESPN2.
Again, giving up 35. But Middle Tennessee, it's an eyebrow raiser for that Louisville defense.
But Brom likes that. He gets to stay in the game and keep slinging it now, and his numbers are going to be big.
Now, no first downs, a total of 7 yards for the Beavers offense since halftime. They're in a deep hole now, and they're still going to try to run the ball at the middle to Bernard. That hasn't worked all night. Leads to a loss there.
Well, one key ingredient missing from Morgan State's offense is the threat of the quarterback running. We've seen it time and time again. If a defense doesn't have the pressure of defending that quarterback, they can bunch up there.
Didn't he take off, though?
Well, Chris said he did.
Yeah, okay. No, you're right. You're 100% right. There's no threat there. And if you're in a set where you can pull it and run a naked bootleg, it can keep people honest. But they've got to start throwing the football.
I think they feel like throwing, not quarterback running, is what could get him back in the game. They will not make the substitution, apparently, to Lyle Moyval, the backup. Canfield flips it to Bernard. He can't hold on, and flags in the backfield anyway. Tough night for Bernard.
These holding penalties in the backfield, it's because they can't handle the defensive line up front with the quickness. And you said Bernard's caught a couple balls where he's been lit up. And so a couple of times he's bobbled those throws and not catching them cleanly.
We're waiting on the call, some delay here.
Holding, number 51 on the offense. The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's Adam Spear filling in for the all-conference Jeremy Perry. There's a leg injury. They decline it, and it'll set up 3rd and 12.
And you can't really pin all of it on Perry not being there. Of course, one guy that's a player like that does have an impact, but Spear has experience as an offensive lineman in big games.
Now they've struggled as a whole unit, that offensive line. 3 receivers for Canfield. They pick up the blitz, and he fires downfield into traffic, incomplete. Now the freshman catching is pretty well covered by Cedric Tolbert, the free safety.
Cincinnati receivers weren't working for their quarterback in the first quarter, and they finally started going for the ball. Now you've got to get Oregon State to stop dropping passes and for their receivers to help the quarterback.
Help him out, make a play. He might have had a shot at Anthony Brown on an in route there. He put the ball in a spot where his receiver might have been able to go up and get a play. Someone's got to come up with the big play, the sensational catch. Get out of this rut and make a play. Calls a turnover here on the punt. Whatever.
Canfield 0 for 5 in this half. 3 straight 3.5. Cerna blocked. It's blocked into the end zone, and the Bearcats fall on it for a touchdown. It'll be a long trip home for the Oregon State faithful, and Alexis Cerna, who volunteered to take over the punting, and the regular punter left. And that guy, Marshawn Gilliard, the receiver, it's been a quiet night, but look at him come off the edge. He blocked it with the back of his head.
Never quit on a play. He was getting blocked, twisted, and threw.
That's one way to block it. Backward.
Great effort.
An extra point. Caroms off the goalpost and goes through. Cerna shakes his head, but watch Gilliard, the terrific comeback story. Academic problems, had to repay his tuition, taking off scholarship, finding a way to make an impact with the back of his helmet.
But he doesn't want to be called Gilliard. He wants to be called Gilliard. Right? He's asking for a name change. He's looking for
the boy's mama called the boy Clay. I'm going to call the boy Clay Gilliard.
He's a great story, Aaron.
He certainly is, Chris. You mentioned he lost his scholarship, stayed around last year because he had $10,000 worth of tuition bills he had to pay for, lost his apartment. He actually had to stay in his car, sleep in his car, worked 3 jobs, a delivery guy, construction worker, worked as a cook. I mean, this guy did everything. You see himself sacrificing his body. He is just happy to be back with his teammates on the field.
Now, Surya is turning his life around. He got engaged last week to Amber Johnson. Gilliard, just a tough upbringing. Very nearly killed. An errant bullet hit him in the chest as a young guy. Aaron mentioned all the difficulties. What a great feeling for a guy who could have easily dropped out of school, never played another football game, had to work those jobs to get the money to come back, and a moment like that makes makes it worth it.
Great character building over the last year of working his tail off to get him back in this position. Now the big smile on the face.
You think he didn't appreciate it?
He's just talking. Look at him go.
The whole bench, you see him up, getting the fans going. I mean, this is a big boost for Cincinnati. Brian Kelly looked for the showcase game. He's a great marketing guy. He's got that mind about him to get more people here. He'll use this to sell his program.
Lawson trying to make a big play for the Beavers special teams, but good coverage. 27-3 Bearcats as we check the All-State standings. You can see the rankings here in the Big East of presence. Louisville. Have to see what the reaction of the pollsters might be next week after the struggle tonight, although they are winning now. And West Virginia #3. Rutgers is, where are they in your poll, Craig? The AP. Rutgers with third Big East team to
I think I have Rutgers
15,
at
16?
15, 16, yeah.
Seems to be the consensus.
Big, hey,
well,
what a prop game, though. What a prop game for the Big East here on TV
Sure is.
Thursday night.
Canfield fires. It's a short completion. Brandon Powers, the senior, went out of bounds. Yeah, Brian Kelly said he does not want the Bearcats to fall into the kind of the category as a man is down, Powers down on the Cincinnati sideline, the man who caught the ball. Doesn't want it to be Louisville, West Virginia, Rutgers, and everybody else in this league. He believes that they're one of the programs moving in the right direction, trying to catch up with the big boys.
This was going to be a measuring stick game for him. He decided to play these opponents, take on a Pac-10 opponent. Next year they take on Oklahoma, and then as well become one of the elite in the Big East. Move up right on par with Louisville, West Virginia, and Rutgers.
Well, but let's be honest about it, too. In addition to this being an impressive win, this is only the third game that Kelly has been at Cincinnati. So the impact so quickly is pretty impressive.
Here's the catch by Powers. It did not look good. He's hit low in the leg as he went out of bounds, and he immediately grabs for that left knee.
Good.
It's impressive he's able to get up and kind of walk back. That injury looked a little bit worse on the replay.
Yeah, it looked like he hyperextended the knee, or could have had a lot of issues there.
Powers, big part of the offense, got the lunch bucket award in the banquet in March for being a kind of a blue-collar guy. He made 39 catches a year ago. He is able to walk okay. Doesn't seem to be too serious. This is not what the Beavers expected. They thought they were going to be prepared. They came in Tuesday, had a couple days to get ready, put an emphasis on this game to head east and not get beaten out of conference, which has happened the last couple of years. They just haven't played well tonight.
I don't think they ever got their motor going, and it all really started up front, and it was completely opposite of what I was expecting to see out of Oregon State. I thought they would be bigger and faster than Cincinnati.
It worked out that way. Bearcats only have 121 total yards. They've just been efficient thanks to the block punt and the turnovers and this stout defense, which has shut down the running game. Canfield fires in the slot. Morales with the catch, but again, no yards after the catch. And the miscue is just piling up. This was Strutter. This is their first offensive play. Again, the receiver coming back had a chance. Cernan, normally reliable, misses it wide right. Bernard able to get nothing going. And then just a minute ago, the block punt. And we don't see the fumble punt, which was controversial. Little Strutter was interfered with that inside the 5. You can add that to the miscues list as well. On third and short, pressure again. They flip it off. Trying to spin for the first down yardage is Bernard. He gets to the 35. Reese, let's check back with you.
Chris, remember that breathing room I told you that Louisville would open up against Middle Tennessee? Well, not so much now. Philip Tanner of the Blue Raiders loose again through a porous Louisville defense. 79 yards, just under 14 minutes to go on ESPN2. The Villa 51-42.
Wow. That's a stunner over on ESPN2. There's a wobbly pass by Canfield. Incomplete, nearly intercepted on the sidelines. D'Angelo Smith could not quite grab the ball. We'll check the replay. Did he get the feet down?
He tried to tap him. It was whether they were in bounds or not. Yeah.
Well,
that right foot. That right foot was down.
Yeah, but the left foot hit the line.
Yeah.
What
But the right foot was
first?
down first. I believe the right foot was down first. Right there. Tap that toe. To me, that's enough evidence to overturn it.
Well, they'll check it anyway. Your scorecard isn't very good. I'm anticipating how the reviews are going to go tonight. But we'll see what happens. Another look at it. Make your decision right now. Pick.
Interception.
I think it's a simultaneous left foot, right foot.
It does. The right foot touches there after he's got the ball.
Simultaneous.
Here we go. Fowler's going to draw.
Well,
does he have the ball? Yes, he has the ball when that foot is down. That's a catch.
What'd you chicken out,
I was
Fowler?
moving toward the telestrator. I want to see. You tell me which foot hits first.
I believe it is
right there.
Right toe.
Is it down? Can you tell if it's on the ground yet? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
ballet. He took toe. He took tap, and it's just a tap of the right toe.
See, I don't think it's going to be enough to turn over the call made on the field. That's a similar situation to the other review. Whatever call would make in the field.
I think that one was obvious enough. I can spit it out to turn that one over.
Obvious.
Yeah, that word. Conclusive. It's a word. Conclusive.
You think that was conclusive?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
No doubt in my mind on that one.
Boom.
I would say right, left. I think there's a body shift, right, left.
Pleading his case, Coach. Tell him, Coach. Tell him.
Yeah, I think he's got the right foot in.
And you're positive that he has control of the ball.
Let's go ahead.
No, because the ball's up at his shoulder pad. Had he collected the ball?
That was the question. That was the only question in it, and I felt he had possession of the ball when he tapped that.
Fowler, how you going with it?
They're not going to overturn the call.
He's not saying anything, is he?
No, I'm saying they're not going to overturn the call.
Okay.
How about you, Doug?
They're overturning it.
I think they're going to give him an interception.
Interception.
Yeah.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The Cincinnati player had a foot inbounds with possession of the ball. Cincinnati's ball, first down.
So D'Angelo Smith does get the pick. It's the third of the night for Canfield. 4 turnovers now.
I thought it was the body. You see the change of right, left.
Oh, he definitely got the right foot down. The only question mark was whether he had control of the ball when he tapped that right foot. And he did. Okay, now
it depends on what time zone you're in, I think, to make that judgment. Okay. I know the folks back in Corvallis are saying the Big East crew hasn't been very kind to us here tonight.
That muff punt should have been overruled with an interference call, but you can't overturn that because it's not reviewable.
So Cincinnati set up on the plus side of the field one more time. They've been so opportunistic. Canfield has struggled tonight. Running game hasn't been there for him. Their Under Armour advantage. The fumble recovery and the punt to go with the 3 picks. The block punt for the touchdown. That's how you get 27 points out of 121 total yards. -4 rushing, by the way, still on the evening for Cincinnati.
I was getting ready to point out the fact they haven't gotten this offense on track yet. This spread offense, go get them type thing, spread them out, let loose. It's been the defense and the turnovers and situational points that have come up.
Aaron, how about Cincinnati's bench? We were worried about the conditioning level of Oregon State. What's Cincinnati like down there?
Well, it was interesting. When they were coming out of the half, I was told that hydration was an issue. The guys were having IVs. There was 3 of them given. There was a lot of stretching out. So, some of the coaches were saying they didn't know if it was nerves. The guys were just really excited. The trainers have been all over the players, giving them water and so forth. They're just jumping up and down excited. But at the same time, they're stressing. Drink the water.
It's been a really hot month. Tonight's almost a break for these players. They finally figured out where to spot the ball after the interception. It'll be back at the 47. There were 20-some days in Cincinnati in August over 90. It has still been it's a tough training camp for these Bearcat players, by the way, who go to Indiana. There's a camp called Higher Ground, which Rick Minner started, and it's just across the border in Indiana. I would say Spartan conditions there. No computers, no internet. Cell phones don't work. Bunk beds, that whole thing as they get ready for the season and the heat.
The coaches call it bonding and bring them together. What they're really talking about is no trouble. There's no trouble to get into when you go out to a camp like that, remote. All you got is your buddies out there. There's nowhere to go to get into trouble.
higher ground sounds like a spiritual retreat or something. It's just a hard-working football place. They're going to throw. Mauk has a man on the near sidelines, wide open. It's the back Moore who hauls it in and heads for the house. Well, that play equaled almost half of their entire offensive output tonight. 50 yards in the touchdown. And the Beavers are officially behind the woodshed here in Cincinnati.
That's got to be a big woodshed, because they got to get them all back there.
The tricky little play by Kelly is Moore kind of snuck out. Defense lost sight of him down the near sidelines. Very unadventurous conversion by Jake Rogers.
But I think it really comes down to execution. It's a trick play, but it's execution. Look at the ball handling of Mauk and the way he sold his head. I mean, it really looked like that the defensive line went that direction with him.
Sneaking down the boundary, waggle right, throw back. Usually on that action, it looks like a naked bootleg running out to the right. Everybody's running crossing patterns. He pulls up, and there goes the fullback down the backside.
You know, we've seen that play several times where you hand it off, and the quarterback sneaks down the sideline, and you see the throwback.
24 points, guys, in this quarter. All of them off the 4 takeaways.
You know, up until that play, the Cincinnati offense wasn't very explosive. They weren't making a lot of plays. They were just taking advantage of their opportunities and getting points.
Hey, Chris, would you say that the Pac-10 is alongside Oregon State right now behind the woodshed?
Well, I think it's a tough loss for the conference if you look at it from those terms. Yeah, Oregon State was considered by a lot of coaches in the Pac-10 as the most underrated team in that league. And based on the win late over USC, some close wins, beat Missouri in the bowl game, high expectations. They handled Utah in the opener. And they're getting a beating in Big East country thanks in large part to their own mistakes tonight.
And what does it say about the quality of the Big East? Not necessarily an elite team yet in the Big East, but getting there.
Brown trying to bounce it, cuts back, gets across the 20. Of course, Oregon State had the horrendous start a year ago. The critics up in the Northwest were howling. Boise State took them to the blue rug woodshed a year ago, and they were able to bounce back. They turned it around, but that was a team that had a lot of newcomers, junior college transfers. This is a veteran team except for the quarterback position, and that's been the problem area.
That has been the problem area. The passing game in general, combination of offensive line, passing. Defensively, they're all seniors pretty much. I think 8 seniors, 3 juniors on their defense. A quality defense. This offense has to find a passing game.
And they will make a change at quarterback. Lyle Moivau, the sophomore, junior college transfer, Torrance, California, comes into the ballgame. It was a tight battle for the starting position with Canfield in pre-camp. Canfield getting the nod. Moivau was used in the opener, and until this possession, Riley has decided to stick with Canfield. Now he makes a change. 15 minutes to play. A Bearcat beatdown of the visitors from the Pac-10 tonight. This game being broadcast on ESPN, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Impressive night for the Bearcats defense, limiting Oregon State to just 3 points. Canfield, to open the 4th quarter, fires right down the sidelines, and making the catch is Brandon Powers, the guy that we thought might have a knee injury, back on the field and collects it for 35 yards. Moivau found him, so the changing quarterback, and Powers coming back on the field in a big play.
Moivau is supposed to be a more athletic type guy, a leader on this team, type take control guy in the huddle with poise, not necessarily a thrower. He put that ball in the money.
Red-shirted last year. Saw his first action in the opener against Utah. Fires again to Powers. Boy, good news. We saw that knee. It looked like it was going to be hyperextended on the sidelines. He made his way over. Now he's got a couple of catches.
Hey, he's got the lunch pail.
The lunch pail, tough guy.
Yeah.
He's got a tough guy, Reese Davis, for a 30 at 30 update.
Not that tough, Chris, but Rick Ankiel certainly is mentally tough. The former pitcher turned hitter is slugging St. Louis for the top of the National League Central. Went yard twice, drove in 7. Cardinals scored the most they had in 6 years. Their game out in the Central. Tiger Woods shoots 467 first round of the BMW Championship. He's 3 off the pace. Sports Center coming up after the game, and of course, you can stay current on ESPN News.
Reese, thank you. Once again, Moivada Powers is the connection. 3 catches on this possession. The new quarterback, maybe the fact that the ball game is 34-3 and the Bearcat defense letting down a little bit, but Moivada showing a spark.
When you come off the bench, you've had a chance to see the game develop in front of you, and it's not as fast-paced for you when you come off the bench.
First down at the 27. Moivada looks right, fires in accurately, almost intercepted as D'Angelo Smith on the pick earlier. On the overrule, had a hand on it. We have to wonder, though, Canfield didn't exactly have a great grasp on the job coming into the Utah game. Got the start tonight with 3 quarters, but now Moivada has been pretty effective coming in. Going forward, there could be a quarterback issue again in Corvallis.
Wouldn't you? I mean, if you play this poorly offensively, quarterback, offensive line, everybody issue.
Moivada looks over the middle. Again, almost intercepted. John Carpenter, the weak side linebacker, dropping into coverage.
Brian Kelly introduced his starting lineups for us tonight, and he really told us during those lineup interviews exactly what he was going to do with his football team and what we should expect to have happen tonight.
Tonight's about stopping the run. I think our front four's got to do a great job. Our linebackers have got to be in position to tackle Bernard tonight. And on the back end of our defense, we're very experienced. We've got to keep the ball in front of us. If we do that, we've got a great chance to win tonight.
They have done, and they do have a great chance to win early 4th quarter. Moivada off the hands and intercepted on the carry by Nakamura. Nakamura down the sideline, spinning to the 45-yard line. Interception number 4 for Kelly's defense, and a flag on the return after the pick by Nakamura as D'Angelo Smith had a hand on it. Nakamura, the safety in the neighborhood, collects the ball.
Nakamura flying to the ball after the deflection. That shows you the speed of the secondary.
After the interception, illegal block below the waist. Number 55 from Cincinnati. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So the 5th turnover and the 2nd pick for Nakamura, comes out of Cleveland St. Ed's, a great wrestling program there. He wrestled in high school, but mostly judo was his method of kind of cross-training. His dad was the former national judo coach of Japan, came to the U.S., coached the U.S. judo team. His sister is an 8-time judo national champion. His brother is a 4th-degree black belt. He's a man of many hair colors. Yeah, you point to his head because every other day he's got a new hairstyle,
He
right?
was blonde with us in the meetings yesterday. This summer I saw him up in Newport, Rhode Island at the Big East meetings.
Mohawk, what did he have then?
I don't remember the color, but it wasn't black.
He had red, blonde, black.
We were eating lobster that night.
He said, more football players should use martial arts. It really helps you on the field. It helps you with leverage and control, helps your legs.
Definitely the leverage thing and handling big guys. In fact, he was talking about wrestling some of the seniors and taking it to it. It's also a mental toughness to it and a discipline.
That should have been Smith's pick. Nakamura says, I'll take that, my friend.
He didn't want it. He didn't want it.
Well,
he just had one.
The judo deal, I had a knee surgery one time, and I took Taekwondo so I would make myself use my body. Don't mess with me up here. I didn't tell you guys that.
Where'd you take him?
What belt did you get to, my friend? Yellow, orange?
I got yellow, and I'm proud of it, buddy. When I got the yellow, I said, hey, I have arrived.
He got that big Texas belt is what he's got.
Let me tell you something. You don't know how proud I was when I had that white belt, the beginner's belt, and when I did my arts, and I came through there, and that guy said, you're there? And I said, yes, I'll do that.
This guy's what? Is it 4th-degree black belt? That's a little slightly above your level of expertise.
Go get him, Craig.
He'd have me tying my shoes before I knew that I had
with
shoes.
Your shoes.
Yeah, he's an interesting story. One of those veterans that had their coach take off, and they didn't even know they were going to get a bowl bid. They're uncertain about their future, and it's worked out well for the Cincinnati team under Kelly so far, Aaron.
To add more about Nakamura, guys, coaches were saying when you look at him, a lot of D1 schools shied away from him because size-wise, it's not that big, but flat out, he's a football player. And the coaches were telling us, you know, he plays hard, he's mentally tough, and that's exactly what you need. And now they know a lot of Division I schools were like, we missed out on this guy. By the way, has the broadcast gone to the point where we're talking about Craig's black? I mean, are we doing that right now?
Yes, we are.
It was
34-3, yes.
His cowboy belt buckle, one of those big Texas belt buckles. That's what he had.
Come on down, I'll get you one. I got plenty of horses and cows for you to work too.
Keep it.
Nakamura's sister, by the way, is a volleyball player here at UC. She's the one that had the 8 times national champions in judo. So Kim, they're on the road looking in tonight, perhaps.
Absolutely, and they're best of friends on campus. The two of them. It's a great family story. The athleticism within the family, the parents, the kids. It's just great. I love it.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's just a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful life. It's a wonderful life.
Yeah,
we got 11 minutes to go here. I'm worried. Now Mauk goes double pass and catching it on the fly is Marcus Barnett in the freshman. Who had his first career touchdown earlier tonight. Nice little run down inside the Beavers 40. Let's check back with Reese Davis. Reese, help.
All right, Chris, every week we honor the AT&T All-America Player of the Week. This week, Colt Brennan of Hawaii. The number's 34-40, 416 and 6 touchdowns. That 85% completion percentage, a record for guys who've attempted at least 40 passes. Text VOTE to 87654 on your AT&T wireless phone. Get in on the voting. You could win a trip to the national championship game.
You know, Brennan, one of those guys that Oregon State's defense played late last season. They sacked him a few times. They beat Hawaii in the Islands. They're in a lot more trouble with the Bearcats here tonight. Colt Brennan, if he has the kind of stats we'd expect he would have, and if Hawaii can get through late in the season undefeated when Boise State comes calling, they have a game at Washington after that.
They're tough
serious
battles.
Heisman chance to join you in the club?
He's got a serious chance. I think the difficulty there is playing in Hawaii, people on the East Coast not seeing him, a lot of the voters not being able to see him. Last week he only played half the game and threw 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, but it's not about stats in the opening game, is it, for most voters?
It all adds up by the end of the year. The numbers all add up.
Well, but the thing that he has going for him is last season propped him up, so it's not like he's a newcomer to the Heisman race.
Now this is Barnett again around the end, loses the football. And the Beavers have it at the 32. So they go a little deeper in the playbook here, comfortably ahead in the 4th quarter, and commit their first turnover. Keaton Christic, the linebacker, knocked the ball loose.
But, you know, the way this season's going, back on Colt Brennan, the way the season's going, you never know who's going to get beat along the way, you know? Bones makes a mistake, his first one of the night.
Yeah, Barnett had the touchdown catch earlier, had a big night. And back to Brennan. He'll be down in the state of Louisiana, one of their few trips to the 48. Brennan, that's incredible, huh? First half was Central Arkansas, the opponent for Louisiana Tech,
you know,
opening week. So this will be an adjustment for them. And Severson, a short gain.
Severson, the ball
apparently down 34-3. They're going to try to establish the fullback.
Tackled by number 31.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Not much to salvage out of this one for Oregon State. Would you agree?
They've got to go to some rhythm passing here and work on the passing game in general. Not worry about scoring 30 points in a hurry. Get a legitimate drive together.
Moyval, the safe throw underneath the Severson. They had a positive drive going last time until that interception.
Well, I don't know what you salvage out of this, Chris. I mean, it's a big night for Brian Kelly.
It is, and remember, West Virginia and Louisville both have to come to Nippert Stadium this year in the Big East. Every other year, Bearcats get the 2 heavyweights at home. They do have to visit Rutgers. That will be their Big East opener. But after that, West Virginia and Louisville come to Nippert, where the Scarlet Knights went down hard a year ago. 3rd down. Short completion across the middle. Morales collects it, gets over the 47-yard line before Tolbert makes the stop.
Now, part of this is situation in the game, soft zone coverage, nickel and dime. But go ahead and take the nickel and dime completions and put a drive together so you feel good about something after this game.
Beavers have the yardage edge by 15 yards in this game, losing by 31. Moivau again, short delivery. You know, Mike Riley wants to go downfield. That's the offense he prefers. They've had no opportunity really to try to get downfield against Cincinnati.
They needed to work on their intermediate to deep passing game. They didn't have it last week. They figure with the run game that they usually have, they can go play action and get the ball up the field, and they haven't been able to run the ball, and everything's taken away.
Basically, they start in Canfield because he's the guy that can get the ball downfield. And after their first attempt, which Starter couldn't collect, not many downfield opportunities. So Moivau delivers high, caught. Taking a hit is the freshman Catchings at the 35. Mike Mickens in coverage. Moivau is again showing a little bit more in terms of decision making than Canfield was.
Plus his receivers going up catching the ball for him. But you know, I'd like to say something about Joe Tresley, the defensive coordinator here. Joe has put together a defense that is smart. You saw two defenders right around that receiver on the last reception. It had to be a perfect throw. And Tresley's good friends with John Tenuta, Georgia Tech. They're running buddies.
Tenuta grew up in Ohio. Those guys are very close growing up and still are. Moivau has a man wide open and overthrown. James Rogers was open at the 15, and Moivau got a little excited, delivered it high.
He was able to move out of the pocket because the D lineman pulled out. It was only a two-man rush for a while there. He had a chance to slide. So Tresley's got all these zone blitzes and pulling people out and give you a lot of different looks out of a 3 down.
You know, between he and John Tenuta, apparently they used to be neighbors and, you know, spent time together. They talk on the phone all the time. You know, between those two, they're talking football.
You think?
I would imagine so.
Tenuta, one of the happiest coaches in America after his Yellow Jacket defense smothered the Irish.
So there was a woodshed over there in South Bend.
Moivau fires, intercepted again. And this time D'Angelo Smith doesn't have it bounce off his head, but he loses the ball. A scrum after the interception. Did the Bearcats give it up? Oregon's a double turnover.
First down. A tough way to get a first down.
Hey, listen, the Beavers will take whatever they can get if it takes a double turnover to move the chains.
Of course, the chains are going to back up, but they move.
James Rogers, the freshman down there, falling on it. So that second interception of the night for Smith, and another one bounce off his hands, and Rogers going to make the recovery. He just took it away from the receiver.
Great ball awareness. He sees it in the air. The corner's playing soft, deep third, reacts to the throw, and breaks on it in the air.
Good job by Rogers, the freshman, to force the fumble. Beavers get it back down by 31.
Every Bearcat home game, Martinez has over 50.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. And in part by Under Armour Performance. The advantage is undeniable.
Although I think body paint is just a terrible idea in general. Those folks having a lot of fun. School hasn't started here in Cincinnati. That'll make this a real party night on a Thursday. SportsCenter to follow this second win of the season, apparently, for Cincinnati, as the Beavers just try to salvage something out of this Eastern road trip. Moivau being knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. He recovered his fumble. There's going to be some excitement in town here. I think the Bearcats came in underdogs in this game with an emphatic win, regardless of the fact that they didn't pile up a lot of yards. You start to look ahead, guys. They make the short trip to Miami. Marshall comes in here at San Diego State. They'll be expected to be 5-0 when Rutgers, they have to visit them in the conference opener.
You have to clear your board after you
do that for them. It's a team effort here.
You know.
So what you're saying is once they get to the conference schedule, the Big East schedule is their difficult games.
Moivau incomplete, way over the head of the receiver.
So with the beating that the Big East has taken reputation-wise, the big games are the Big East games, and they're showing
I'm saying that they got a chance to get up to a 5-0 start visiting Rutgers. And then, remember, Louisville and West Virginia have to come in here.
Sure.
They've never been ranked
promising.
except for, they've been ranked 1 week in the poll in the last half century.
Basketball
Cincinnati
doesn't count.
No, they're not a very good basketball team this year. They're a much better football school than basketball school this year. Third down.
They got a nice looking schedule set up.
Royval now flips it short, but he needed big yardage for the first down. Fighting inside the 40 is Severson, but it'll set up a fourth down.
We've seen highlights all night, cut-ins of Middle Tennessee scoring a bunch of points against Louisville.
Yep.
I wouldn't have never thought that would have happened. So what now? And we've seen Appalachian State. We just don't know what to expect. You know, this could be a season where you have some big-time surprises.
That's why those polls.
South Florida at Auburn.
This game right here. I'll do it again right here.
Yeah, there
Circle that one now.
Well,
clear it for me.
Clear it.
Okay.
But you got to draw on the board. You were drawing off the board.
It's a work in progress at Telestrator. Almost another interception. That ball fired behind the receiver, and Carpenter almost had another Bearcat pick. A fourth down not converted, and Cincinnati will take over. I would think try to shell the up-tempo offense and just run out the clock.
Okay, so what we're seeing here would be the Big East, the middle of the Big East, being pretty strong compared to the Pac-10, right? That's
well,
what we're
perceived as the middle of the Big East.
Right, perceived,
yeah.
Understand, as of today. So what happens if South Florida goes down and finishes off what K-State couldn't do against Auburn?
Well, it's a huge win for this league if they can win in Jordan-Hare. They're about a touchdown underdog in that game.
Auburn didn't look overly impressive last week.
They escaped. They did enough. But a lot of people are pointing to that as a potential upset. The Tigers will have their full attention. You know, Tommy Tuberville kind of likes the matchup against the Bulls, who are a talented team. Remember, we took out West Virginia a year ago.
Yeah, they're athletic, they're talented. We saw their defense, a bunch of swarming Bulls. You know, I mean, they can play some football. They got talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together down there. Matt Grothy, a quarterback, very promising.
Give you another one. TCU in Texas this weekend. Mac Brown. You talked to Mac this week, Chris.
Yeah, he knows that there's no way he can make the Longhorns care about the game as much as TCU's players, their coaching staff, and their people will. It's their first meeting since the Southwest Conference broke up. This is Jacob Ramsey running on the left side, a carry for the sophomore. And we'll check back with Reese.
All right, Chris, I'm hesitant to say it, but I don't think we're going to get the Middle Tennessee over Louisville upset, though it looked as if the Blue Raiders were about to draw closer. Joe Craddock was pressured and threw it up for grabs, and Malik Jackson, thank you very much, he'll take that and snuff out the Middle Tennessee scoring threat. Under 4 minutes to go on ESPN2, the Bill up 16.
Of course, we'll see Louisville later this year. Thursday's schedule, thanks to the great cooperation of the Big East Conference, which schedules its biggest games near the end of the season to build drama. Saw the Cardinals a couple times last year. We'll see them a couple more coming up on Thursday night. We mentioned next week will be following West Virginia to Maryland. Texas A&M goes down to the Orange Bowl. We'll see the Seminoles against the Demon Deacons. Boston College visits Blacksburg. We'll see that Louisville, West Virginia rematch. This time it's in Morgantown. Then Rutgers has to go to Papa John's. USC will take on the Sun Devils on Thanksgiving Thursday out in Tempe. So a great schedule.
A lot of fun. All the major Big East matchups coming down the wire.
And you get USC on Thanksgiving night at Arizona State. Dennis Erickson will have had time to really put his team together out there.
Impressive start for Arizona State. I know it was San Jose State, but they looked very, very strong. And the Sun Devils have Colorado this Saturday night. Ben Mauk and the Bearcats have done it creatively and efficiently. 34-3 over mistake-prone Oregon State.
The 25 greatest players in college football history, presented by IBM, coming in 1 week. IBM, getting it done.
One of the top 25 greatest players in college football, voted on by a blue ribbon panel of coaches, former players, media members. Will reveal 25 through 1 over the course of the season. And the greatest player announced in the last week. Would you start Moyval based on what you've seen here tonight in the next game. They have Idaho State back home, and guys, and they got to go down to Tempe and take on Dennis Erickson. A lot of juice in that game, the former Beaver head coach on Tempe.
I don't think so. I mean, he's hit 3 defensive players in the chest with the ball as well.
Not much to choose from is what you're saying between the two.
You know, it all starts up front. I'm going to go back to that. The offensive line, had they protected, maybe I'd say get rid of Canfield.
Well, you don't get rid of him. You just let the other guy play.
What about completion? You don't get rid of guys in college. You got to keep them around. It's tough though in the Pac-10. We talked about how deep and how strong. Being over here, James.
Yeah, here we go.
At ASU, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. You know, there's no automatic, no gimmies. This is a real tough one. That's a humongously tough one. Washington's improved. That's the Civil War at the end of the year.
See what you've done, Chris? You've got arrows going everywhere.
That's how tough the schedule is. Arrows everywhere. There's a complete catchings. 34-yard line. I mean, what we've seen tonight, if they don't play light years better, Canfield right on down the line, they're going to disappoint a lot of people because there were some expectations. They were picked 5th by the media coming in, but internally their expectations were much higher than that.
2-3 last year was their start,
right,
which really was poor. Everybody was ready to punt and get rid of them.
The entire defense coming back. They rush the passer. They get the quarterbacks. They had 47 sacks last year.
Right.
They should do much better.
Another inaccurate throw. Morales, the intended receiver.
But the big question is offensively, the quarterback position, especially pulling the trigger. Offensive line struggled. They got a great running back, although you didn't see it tonight because Cincinnati played the game in the Oregon State backfield.
Well, Bernard, we talked about how complete a tough a back he is. 23 touches. None of the touches longer than 5 yards. That's incredible.
Sounds like a Craig James kind of a day back there.
Shows you how tough this Bearcat defense has been and how attentive they've been on Bernard. It's a short completion over the middle. That's been all the completions short, just like that. Our Wrangler player of the game is former wrestler, judo black belt Haruki Nakamura. Is 2 interceptions, 6 tackles for the senior, making his 25th consecutive start tonight.
I wish we could ask him right now, in celebration of the player of the game and the victory of the team, what color hair he'll have this week.
He did set the tempo, though, especially the first interception early on, getting out underneath an out route. Setting up the first
Severson, who shakes some tacklers' heads out of bounds. You need to get some guys to give Nakamura some salon tips. So he tried to put peroxide in his hair. He didn't rinse it out right away. Was that the problem?
He looks a lot better today. Yeah, he didn't rinse it out, and then he colored over top of it.
Is Aaron still paying attention to this broadcast? She can add to that hair treatment.
You go to the one expert.
Yes, I'm paying attention. And by the way, I talked to him today about his hair choice, and he said since it's on national television, and the rumor was a lot of his family members didn't like it, he thought he'd clean it up. What's your excuse? Right, James?
No, it's been a tough night for the
is that Heat Miser? From the year without a Santa Claus?
Yeah. Yep.
They gave a few presents away tonight. I don't know about Santa Claus, but Oregon State was in a very giving mood, and turnovers turned into points by the Bearcats. A very it's deceptive win. It really wasn't that lopsided. I think Oregon State will have a big edge in yardage when you look at the stats tomorrow, but 34-3, thanks to all the mistakes by Oregon State. This is the final play of the game, and yet another interception. This time Brad Jones gets in on the act. He just falls to his knees. 7 turnovers for Oregon State.
We hit
and a nice momentum-building win for the Bearcats and for the Big East Conference.
Big one for the Big East, taking on a decent Pac-10 opponent. Signature-type win for Cincinnati. Looking to Oklahoma next year, same type of game.
And once again, Oregon State will have to regroup after a beatdown on the road out of conference. 34-3 is the final. For Craig, for Doug, for Aaron, I'm Chris Fowler. So long for our entire crew in Cincinnati. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. SportsCenter is coming up right now.